There's a jingle in the still of night, a shimmer neath the pale moonlight. St. Nick is sly, a shadow fleet, with gifts that make young hearts complete. He's not the man with toy-filled sleighs, no sugar plums or candy trays, but hope he brings to maidens fair, with silver coins and tender care. Oh, the jingle of St. Nick, not a sleigh bell, but a magic trick, a dowry here, a dowry there, a whisper soft, a loving prayer. Three sisters wept by candles' glow, no golden chance for love to show, but through the window coins were tossed.
Welcome in, folks. Another beautiful Saturday evening is upon us. Hope everyone's doing well out there and has had a fantastic week so far. It's that wonderful time of year in between Thanksgiving and Christmas where we get to enjoy the winter holiday season. Hopefully I'm coming in okay. Good evening, Peter Wright. Boom. Always a pleasure to have you. And I'm starting to think Avalanche might be our very own Mr. Pitt, who possibly changed his name. I don't remember modding anybody else. Saturdays are for the boys, absolutely. Thank you so much. It'll be hard for me to call you Avalanche from now on because our beloved Mr. Pitt is just so important to us, and I don't know if I can accept the change. Skazil istinu bratan. Yes, da. Bonsoir vous les gars. Good evening, Donald DeMarco. Shout out to you. Angry Casper, great to see you. Male hypergamy, how's that going to be defined? That's a good question. Well, we're going to watch It's Complicated channel. Thank you to, I believe, Dan the Man. Hope I'm not mixing up creators here, who gave us this wonderful jingle of St. Nick, dowry music. Now we're going to go back to a classic of Shaw's Bold Endeavor. Another fantastic song. Males demanding females become high value, perhaps. Yeah, well, we'll see. Klaus, good evening, everybody. Hey, welcome in, Klaus. We can get the show started now. Klaus is just listening to us while driving in his Porsche. His Porsche now, might as well be. Lima Charlie coming in clear. Thank you, Luke. Great to see you in here, Luke. Appreciate you, man. Hope you're doing well. While not many here, you do realize dowry is a second-order derivative in this equation. Angry Casper, I'll have to admit you're speaking very, very highbrow, man. Can you just break that down for us a little bit? Play Death Row Christmas, where Snoop Dogg slaps a hoe on Christmas Day. Is Mr. Pitt. Okay, got it. Yep. I can elaborate, but 255 will make it hard. Dowry died, then women got the jobs. That was the promise. The promise is they would get jobs and they would contribute money. That was the feminist promise. Death Row Christmas is a real album. Oh no, I believe you it is. I believe you. Let's go. Heck yeah. All right, Mr. Pitt. I'm gonna have to keep calling you Mr. Pitt Avalanche. Avalanche is a cool name. Fair point, but Google didn't let me see your comments, sir. Hey, Michael Sand, shout out to you, man. Great to see you. How you been? I've been all right, man. I can't complain. It was a good week. I think I've been enjoying food a little bit too much, but that's okay. Work's been pretty busy, which isn't the worst thing. To be honest, the week went by kind of quick because of that. I've just had stuff to do, like, constantly, which is fine. I don't care. You know, the money's decent. Just trying to stay home and save. Man, well, I just been into the gaming lately, dude. Any of you guys ever played Legend of Zelda on the Super Nintendo? I've been stuck on that game for like the past few evenings now. And I've really been enjoying it. I never played it when I was younger, but I mean, I had some of the Zeldas, but I never beat them. So I was like, I'm gonna sit down and actually try to like figure this out. Oh, excuse me. And it's such a great game. Hope you've been doing well, JP. Not my car, still not marrying. Not even for a Porsche. Shout out to you, man. Hey, at least she doesn't have a negative dowry.
I have no dowry. If anything, I have a negative dowry.
All right, follow the money. Hopefully our messages are coming in on the screen. Okay, it looks like they are. It's good. I know sometimes the messages won't come up, and then I'll have to like reset them. Solid plan, man. Gosh, I'd hate to agree with you. You're right, man. I'm not a car digger. That's funny. Hey, Michael. Maybe we can get a download of the job, Shaw. A download on it? Give me like a couple months, man. Just a couple months. Couple months, and I'll circle back around. Back the dowry. Man, I love this song. Thank you, Mr. Pitt Avalanche. Yo, Tacticus. Yeah, great to see Tacticus. Okay, I'd say that's enough music for tonight. Gotta stay gaming. I know.
You gotta stay
I really
gaming,
have been
bro.
staying gaming.
Don't focus on no girl. Just stay gaming.
That's all I've been doing, man. And I got my OEM Super Nintendo controller there hooked up to my Wii. But yeah, it's a really fun game, man. I don't know. When I was younger, man, like I could just never beat a Zelda game. And to be completely honest with you, if I'm like, I've been playing the game and I've been trying to follow along, but there are some things I couldn't figure out. So like I had to look up a guide, which is kind of embarrassing. Like there's just things, and then like when I read it in the guide and I'm like, dang, how would a kid figure this out back then? Like you'd have to be playing for hours, just testing everything. Like there's a part in the game where you have to get this book, and the book helps you read a language so you can get into this dungeon in this desert layer, okay? So you know you got to get it. And then when you're in this house or this library in the village, the book is on top of the bookshelf. So you're like, you can't reach it. I tried everything. I was using the ice rod. I was trying to swing my sword at it. And then finally, like I figured out, I didn't figure this out. I looked it up on Google and I found a convenient guide that told me you have to like ram. There's a move that you get in the prior dungeon, which is like you ram into things. And you have to ram into the bookshelf, and then it falls off of the bookshelf, and then you get the book. And I don't know. I just wouldn't have thought of that, you know? And that's the kind of thing like back in like 1998 where you'd be at school that week and you're talking to your like one buddy who also likes video games a lot. And you're just like, man, I don't know what to do after this. Like I got this far and I don't know what to do. And then like, he's like, oh, my older brother told me what to do. You got to ram into you got to hold A button and then charge you got to charge into it. I'd be like, oh, really? And then like after a whole rest of the day at school, then I'd be like, okay, I'd get home and then, you'd probably eat some food or whatever. Like, I'm going to finally sit down, I'm going to play this video game. I'm going to see if what he said worked. And then it works and you're like, oh my God. And then you can finally play the rest of the game. So yeah, that's what happened to me. And it's been fantastic. I've also been playing Metroid Fusion on Game Boy Advance SP. So yeah, got a couple of games going on there. Still thinking of doing the after hour stream with the CRT TV on Twitch. Bro, I wanted to do the CRT, like, I swear to God, I was thinking about doing it all day, man. I was like, man, the hell with it. Let me just play some video games on YouTube or something. But listen, throughout like all the Black Friday sales, I was looking for a good deal on a 4th camera. I literally have 3 DSLRs and I want a 4th one. And my plan is that I'm going to have one camera from here focused on that, you know, chair. And then I'm going to have another camera that looks at the CRT. And then, I don't know, I was thinking about incorporating it into the show. Like if we really want to have a chill stream or we're not tripping, I can react to a video while I'm playing on the CRT TV. And then, I don't know. I was just thinking like there's all these things I can do. So I don't know. Well, you know, that's the plan. That's the plan. Mega Man X on the SNES was my jam when I was a kid. Man, see, I didn't have it on the SNES, but I had the PlayStation versions. And it was like Mega Man X4 or X6. I had those games. Or Mega Man X8 or something. Those are fun games. We're going to play all those games. He's working at the Library of the Frog People. Mega Man X was the bomb. It sure was. I have around 250 NES ROMs tucked away from the early days of the internet, Shaw, if you're interested. I mean, you do not have to sell that to me. I mean, yeah, if you... I would love to connect on that, man. I would love to. So, yeah, you and I will talk after the show. Perhaps facilitate a handoff of sorts, which does not involve any official material, of course. These are all modded fan versions of them. So, yes. Sega Genesis was it for me. Mortal Kombat 1 with blood. Man, I was never good at that. Good game. Yes, you have to dash. Do a barrel roll. Remember, guys, there's nothing more important than marrying a wealthy woman. Exactly.
And there's nothing more important than marrying a wealthy woman. As you get older, I'm going to teach you tricks.
Man, you know, I don't care what anybody says about it. Or if they're going to be like, that's not masculine. They can just masculine their way to these, you know what's. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, what they're talking about is all low leverage dating. Or if you're just, you know, wanting to get laid with somebody or whatever. When it comes to actual marriage, you know, men should be in business. I was thinking about Coach's quote today, actually right before the show. You know, he says men are in love, women are in business. And I was thinking like, I wish Coach would, you know, I guess it's sort of an obvious, but it would be interesting to see him do a show on what women look like when they're in love. Or, you know what I mean? Now, they have the unique opportunity of being able to be in love and then switch to business, you know, due to the environment. And then the other question that springs from that is, what is it when a man is in business rather than in love? So now I'm feeling old. LOL, I was around for arcades when I was a teen before all these box game things. Man, yeah, see, that's a different era. Arcades are still a thing when I was a kid, but the consoles had pretty much taken over. So I think the 80s were probably like a special time of like arcade gaming. But arcades were always tight. It's just, you know, at the point that like I was getting there, it's like, oh man, you got to have all these quarters. So it's like the arcade was fun for games that you couldn't have at home. You know, so if you had like a gun con game, like, you know, they had like Time Crisis, which I also have over here. I was hoping that orange gun con was there, but it's not. And oops, I even hit the wrong one. I was going to show you the room cam. Yep, ram into it and it pops off. You're a Gen Xer too, right, Luke? Good bedroom tips. Hold the A and charge into it. Oh my gosh, that was funny, dude. Older Gen X. My grandpa has a Pong on his old TV. That was mind-blowing back in the day. Oh, I bet. Dude, have me over. I'll destroy you in Zelda. That'd be fun, man. Someday. We'll get a second chair in here, man. We'll just play it the way it's meant to be played. But I don't think it's a multiplayer game, so, you know. But what's cool, man, is I got it on NES, SNES, N64, and GameCube. So I have like all the Zeldas, and I've never beat a single one. I also have them on Game Boy too. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna really be Dontavious in it for a while.
You gotta stay gaming, bro.
Like I have all the games to be gaming. I could speedrun both quests in Zelda, one within a couple of hours with one life. With one life? No way. That's too much, man. Some of those dungeons are really hard. No one remembers Nintendo Virtual Boy. Dude, wasn't like Virtual Boy the one that had like the goggles and it was like all red on the inside or something? It was like a Game Boy, but it was red. Time Crisis is the single best arcade game ever made. Changed my mind. Dude, it's a fun game. I bought one off eBay for the PlayStation 2 with the gun con also. And like, you know, one of my buddies came by and I was having them like play it, and I don't know, man. I like having people come by and then play the retro games because it's something people probably think like, oh, you know, just, you know, maybe they don't even play games so much anymore, but everybody's face just lights up when they can put on an old retro game and they're like, oh my God, it's been years. I used to have this one. They're like, oh, do you got this game? And then when you have the game and then they start playing it, it's the best. All right. Today's going to be a pretty chill stream. I mean, God, don't expect anything profound. I'm just hanging out and I feel like I'm blessed to be able to be here with y'all. I hope everybody's doing well. And I just figured today, you know, would be a good It's Complicated channel night. You know, before, so after I set the stream premiere, I realized that Matt Cross had posted part 2 of his discussion with John from It's Complicated channel right here. So, man, I listened to the whole thing while I was cleaning my room and doing laundry. And, man, this was pretty good. This was pretty good. So I think next week we'll react to this one. They had a fun conversation here. So I was going to change it to that tonight, and I was like, we'll just save it for next week. But I just figured, you know, it's been a while since we just did some It's Complicated videos. I was thinking about doing a couple of Manosphere Highlight Daily videos. Might do that. But I figured we'd look at male hypergamy and women birth. And then, you know, once we get past that... Let me see, highlights daily. Let me show you the video I was thinking about. There's 2 videos. There's this one, Scott Galloway exposes the dating problem, then blames men anyway. And then there's the one about John Cena, which I thought was pretty good. John Cena. This one right here. Nikki Bella pays $200K in divorce. So John Cena had a prenup with this lady. And I actually wanted to look at this one last week, but we were doing the Matt Cross It's Complicated channel discussion. So, yeah, I don't know. After we look at our It's Complicated stuff, so we got like 4 videos, right? So we got plenty of stuff. Just, you know, putting this out here. So I just thought this one was interesting because he seemed to have gone against the grain and negotiated a better prenup for himself. I don't think they had kids, so that probably made their divorce a hell of a lot easier. So yeah, that's the plan. So I'm thinking we're gonna look at male hypergamy and women birth. So that's what I'm thinking. I like the title of this one, male hypergamy. You know, because a lot of people, you know, like even someone like Rollo will say only women are hypergamous. I don't want to mischaracterize him, but I don't think he believes men can be hypergamous. I believe both people can, because hypergamy, in my opinion, revolves around marriage. And both men and women can come up in marriage depending on the bargain, which is made clear from the dowry history. So that's my opinion on it. Hey, Raymond, Thoughts and Mine. Shout out to you, man. Thanks for being here, bro. Shout out, Raymond. Man, we were just talking about the retro gaming again, of course. One of these days, we will get you over here. I've been playing Legend of Zelda. I feel like, I don't know, I could imagine a young Raymond playing Legend of Zelda on Super Nintendo. That and Metroid. You seem like a Metroid guy also. Hopefully I didn't miss any. Yep, the 64 is my first machine. Oh, the Commodore 64. 33 Secrets, he was not smart, not because Rollo hates him, because he was failed bros selling courses. I mean, I like 33 Secrets, man, honestly. I think he's a good guy. And let's see, Luke says, oh man, I can't stand Mr. Galloway. Yeah, I've been seeing people reacting to some Galloway clips on Twitter, and a lot of folks aren't happy with them. So I saw that Manosphere Highlights Daily video, and I was like, I think that might be a good one. Controlled opposition. I can point out a dozen uni-level professors who are better than he is and are speaking out. Not controlled opposition. He's either chicken. Okay, so... All right, guys. Let's move into this video. All right. Let me just see Mr. Pitt's comment real quick. Scott Galloway, what do you mean society is gynocentric? Also, Scott Galloway, men would suck less if they would just be more like women. All right, well, all right, let's watch this one.
Imagine a society where men only dated women who are in the top 10% of beauty, youth, and femininity. How do you think that would affect everyone else?
I think it would affect them greatly, but at the same time...
Okay, so yeah, so he's, in terms of hypergamy, like, I guess you could say in the more recent iteration of what, you know, the manosphere says men look for in women. So beauty, youth, all this kind of stuff. See what she says.
I feel like it's already like that now, in a way.
Well, I guess you could say, I mean, you know, most men are aiming for the hottest chick they can find, you know, the hottest, youngest, I guess, in general. But that's really because things have been changed in a way to, especially because of romantic love, where women don't offer much other than that. So if you take out the dowry part of this equation, then women are left having to maximize this, and you get the Barbie ideal. Yeah, Galloway is ridiculous. He diagnoses a problem, then drops a deuce in the middle of the room. No one in the common manosphere or men respect Galloway for his AI scraper overlords bots. He is pretending he is discovering hot water. Yeah. I mean, I guess he comes off as like this kind of academic, and he seems like, in a way, he kind of presents as speaking for men, or at least highlighting men's problems and issues. But then it just, I kind of stopped paying attention to him because he didn't really seem to be saying anything new or unique in the sense of where to go from there. So, you know, it's just kind of a disappointment.
Every man started saying, I only date 9s and 10s. How would average women react?
I think everyone would be thinking that they were 9s and 10s.
Well, they'd probably become, you know, I don't know, resentful, especially if they see themselves as 9s or 10s. Oh, yeah, or they would do that. They would present themselves as 9s and 10s and believe it.
I think that would create some type of caste system, a hierarchy of beauty standards and peer pressure.
I think that in a way happened, right? That you took away the dowry system is all about romance. Most of the guys were going after the hottest chicks because the hotter Barbie looking chick serves as a good vessel to rest your romantic fantasy on, right? And then you had the implosion of the Barbie ideal, and we ended up with what we got, which was a bunch of women with half their head shaved and like big old tattoo sleeves. Not to mention 7 out of 10 people overweight or obese. So there we go. He went on Oprah, like, how much more evidence do you need? He's mooching the spotlight, saying the things people want to hear for the clout, clicks, money, and fame. Bottom line, he's out for numero uno only. Wanted to say what's up and drop a like. We'll catch the replay tomorrow. Have a good night, boys. Hey, man, shout out to you. Thanks so much for the like. Thanks for coming in and saying hello. Appreciate that, man. That helps. That helps me. And thanks to the folks who have hit the like button. Wow, 13 likes, 17 folks in here hanging out. What a blessing. In other words, Galloway is Dr. House, except he still kills the patient after his diagnosis. You get a single mom, and you get a single mom, and you... Oh, you know what, man? I saw this other video. I was thinking about watching it with you guys, but I actually don't even know if it's going to be an interesting video. It was really just the title of the video that caught my mind. And it was what I learned from my divorce with Michaela Peterson. And it was her ex-husband, like, on a podcast talking about this. This one right here. And the reason it was like kind of interesting to me was because all the comments were like, "Oh my God, Michaela Peterson divorced this guy. Like, why? You know, he fits all the markers of the quote unquote high value man." The only reason I'm bringing this up is because Angry Casper's comment reminded me of like Jordan Peterson. I think there was something about him kind of goading guys to take on women's problems in that way, or solving, you know, that for them and being Mr. Hero. All right, back here.
I mean, it's obvious like a lot of women struggle with their self-esteem, with the way they look, the way they feel, and I think that would just reinforce that feeling like a million times.
If every man started saying, I only date 9s and 10s, how would average women react?
I feel like that's so mean. I don't know.
See, this is what It's Complicated does best. It's like he's setting the stage for being like, well, what about the opposite? This could be like, well, you know, nobody cares about men, unfortunately.
Oh.
They would be offended and have some heightened feelings of insecurity, I'd imagine.
Do you think women would say those men are confident or call them shallow?
Shallow, definitely.
Why?
Because when we look for beauty, it's shallow, but when they look for handsome genetics, it's for better reasons, especially like, I want good genes. I want my kids to be looking good. They have genuine
It'll probably be something like, you know, wanting a better protector.
reasons,
But yeah, especially those.
we don't.
If every man started saying,
Well, if men say, you know, they want younger and hotter or something, then, you know, the accusations of predation will not be too far behind. Michael Sayan says, men did not romance, only women. Men hate Valentine's Day and usually stop dating after marriage. The trade-off must have been free sex and not getting parents' approval for marriage. Yeah, there you go. She's an alpha widow. Shout out to her dad. I watched. Seems like a good guy, which explains everything. That one girl is a Montreal chick. Chitan un ex. Oh, she has a French accent.
I won't settle for less than my ideal woman,
You hear a
the
French
way
accent.
many women do now, what would that society look like?
It would look like people have standards, as they should.
It would create for competition amongst women, and
In some ways, I don't know. You could say that sort of exists. That's why, you know, makeup and these industries are so, you know, popular and make so much money, because women are trying to accentuate the beauty standard as much as they can in order to take advantage of that. But some women have good genes too. Oh yeah, damn, I can't remember what the hell that woman's name was that was in that jeans commercial. Sydney Sweeney.
the beauty industry to be worth double than what it is now.
I feel like everyone has their person. We should respect, like, if that's not your type, that's not your type. Like, there's someone for everyone.
Do you think average women would feel the same pressure that average men feel today in the dating market?
I don't know, because I honestly have it so good.
You know, I guess where my mind goes with that is that I don't think women feel the pressure until the back end when the discussion of marriage comes, you know, because it's like, yeah, okay, on the front end, if it's just about having sex with people, if it's just about getting laid and dating in that sense, women have more options to be able to make that happen for them faster. Where, you know, men have to really figure out the game, especially being pursuers and all that kind of stuff. But on the back end, when it comes to marriage, you know, that guy, the guy that they say they have options with, or who they're, you know, at first attracted to, that they will make it easier for, when it comes to marrying and getting that guy to marry, that's when the trouble comes in. That's when women really lose their mind too. Like when they've been going out with some guy for like 4 years, 5 years. And, you know, there's that whole subreddit we used to look at. Damn it, I can't remember what the subreddit's name is because I unfollowed it. Waiting to Wed. Where there's just like, it's been 5 years, it's been 10 years. Hell, let's bring that up right now. You know, and then that's when they lose their minds. You know what I mean? And then they start, that's where like the Waiting to Wed. Oh, damn it. Do we not have that subreddit anymore? Oh, there it is. Waiting to Wed. 60. Look, it's grown. It's grown since I've been there. Back when I was there, it was like 50,000 people. Oh, look at these, some interesting things. Genuinely curious, legal infrastructure instead of marriage. I don't know what the hell this is, but we'll look at that. Jay Kelly, because this is my recently ended my 5-year relationship with my girlfriend after she couldn't. Oh, this is a guy. All right, interesting. She is now saying she is ready. Do you think she actually is? Maybe we'll look at that. Sorry, guys. We're just doom moving in. How to bring it up again. Okay, yeah. 28 female with 30 male boyfriend, have been together 5 years, lived together for 3, and own an apartment. And so, yeah, she's having trouble there. Let's see what this is. I kind of want to see what this is. Hi, friends. On this sub, because I've had several friends get stuck in the waiting to wed trap, and for one especially, it was heartbreaking because now she's mid-40s. Damn, she waited till she was mid-40s for the high-value guy to marry her, and it never happened. Damn. And likely won't have the kids she desperately wants. Damn. All right. Sorry for the cussing, guys. So I'm extremely empathetic, and I have a genuine question. I realize there are a number of legal devices you can put in place that provides the benefits of marriage without the actual marriage. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see what these ladies are talking about here. Things like medical decision-making, wills, power of attorney, that kind of thing. So I have 3 questions. Is it possible to put in place... Damn, reread your stuff. There's so many typos. To put in place enough legal infrastructure that you have the legal protections of marriage without the actual marriage. I'm not an attorney. 2, have there been any stories of men who didn't want to get married but were willing to do the other legal stuff? I'm guessing probably not, but wondering if any of you have offered that as an alternative to marriage. Like, sure, we don't have to get legally married as long as you put XYZ contracts in place to protect us. Hey, it almost sounds like someone's trying to, like, reinvent the wheel with the original marriage contract or something. Like, sure, we don't have to get legally married as long as we put XYZ contracts in place to protect us. And finally, if your man was willing to do that, would that change the calculus for you? And would it okay to make to stay with them? Just curious. All right. It just seems like an awful lot of steps to take just for someone to avoid the fate of marrying me. Well, yeah, because you got less to lose, lady. So, of course, you don't have to think that much when it comes to getting married. Anytime somebody gets married, there should be a lot of steps before that. You know what I mean? There should be conversations about what each person is bringing, you know, and what they're entitled to and what it looks like if it breaks and what the agreement is, what the deal is, you know? Right? Marriage isn't equivalent to being marched to the guillotine. For some guys, it is. For some guys, it is. If someone is acting like it is, then perhaps value yourself enough to realize you move on. Don't beg people to choose. Okay. I would imagine the legal protections most of these guys don't want are the laws deciding how to split assets during divorcing. Okay, so someone's figuring it out. Yeah, let's go from here. Well, that marriage also allows you to access Social Security benefits upon retirement in the U.S. If you're not married, you don't access that. Okay. True, but the stay-at-home girlfriends are the ones that need to worry about that the most. Women who work and have the Social Security credits, though, will at least get their own benefits. That's what a prenup is for. And if you can't agree on the same legal terms, marriage or no marriage, prenup, power of attorney, wills, trust deeds, with your lifetime partner, they're not the one for you. I agree with this 100%, and for that reason, I'm sure most people wouldn't want to sign the papers in question. In my book, decide what you want. If you want to have kids, either get married or decide to be a single parent. If you live together, great, but without marriage, there's no true commitment. Without dowry, you're not actually a wife, just so you know.
I have no dowry. If anything, I have a negative dowry.
Also, there are a lot of benefits with marriage that you don't get when living together, and I don't know that there are enough papers that can... Damn, have former estate planning practice employee here in Hot Take. You still want those documents in place if you are married. Okay, this is probably like wills and power of attorney. Yes, your spouse is your first decision maker, but if you get into an accident together, what happens? And a trust can protect your assets in the event of a legal dispute. So the whole why do that when you could just marry me doesn't make sense to me. If anything, it's the piece of paper argument flies out the window if you are willing to sign. You know what, man? To be honest, I think that one hotshot lawyer, New York City, damn, I don't remember that guy, James Sexton. In his interviews with like Soft Underbelly, I think he pretty much explained that you should avoid the state marriage, and there are things you can do outside of marriage that would pretty much cover, you know, these other benefits, like as far as inheritance and, you know, power of attorney. Like that's stuff you can do on the outside. So I think he confirmed at least you can do that. I wonder who wants children more, men or women? You know, I think both. I think both men and women want children. And maybe they just hit that at different phases in their life. But I think when it happens is when you feel like the clock's ticking. And I think in some ways men can feel that too. Psychax did a video on this, Orion Taraban, about the wall for men. And he said, no, it was him being interviewed on the Whatever podcast. I think someone asked him about that. And I think he answered in the sense of like, when there's some kind of, if you hit like some kind of near death or like physical type thing, like as a guy, like the first time you get like a serious medical issue or some type of something that threatens your ability, you know, physically especially, that's when men start thinking, oh crap, you know, and then you're going to be like, you know what, the hell with being the matador. And maybe you're lucky enough at that point where you actually didn't get hit by a bull and get, you know, destroyed. And then you're probably like, okay, yeah, you know what? The bull almost got me that time. Its horn hit me. You know what I mean? But I was lucky. All it took was some stitches. I'm actually done with this now. You know what? I want to have a family. So I think for both men and women, it just tends to hit them. Women have their, you know, fertility window that hits them a little bit more. But I think it could happen to men too. I'd like to think both men and women want children. She has standards. Do you have the right to please her? Men want children more from a recent survey, if memory serves. What's up, shout out Coffee and Jordan. Man, I haven't had coffee in a while, man. Thanks for being my weekly coffee reminder, man. I appreciate you. There's plenty of simps that will marry a lady. Pearl actually talked about that, and that the real black pill is that there is no justice for women like that. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. There's plenty of guys that'll come in to kind of clean up the mess, so to speak, clean up a spill on aisle 3. But I will say, I do think it's not going to be who they had wanted it to be. So there will still be, you know, resentment there. This is where women switch from being in love to being in business. See what I mean? So this is going to be the trade-off. Then they're like, oh crap. And then, you know, this game of musical chairs is coming to an end, so they better find some seat to sit in. It's getting cold out here. It is, man. That makes the coffee probably that much better. Since we don't do dowry anymore and owning and transferring land right is not such a big deal today, do men really marry today to have children and pass down inheritances? Look, listen, man. I mean, I'll tell you, Michael, we've had, I think, a conversation on this channel that touches it a little bit, you know. In a society where nobody owns anything, then does paternity matter as much? Like, let's say the welfare aspect of our society takes over and it becomes full-blown socialist. And the government, like, just has a safety net that takes care of everybody anyways. And you're not going to really be that rich because you pay so much in taxes. I don't know, whatever. Does paternity matter as much if you live in a society where property ownership is something that most people are concerned with, and there is stratification, and there is not much of a welfare state? Well, I would say, yeah, paternity matters more in that situation. And a welfare state is kind of like humans being nomadic, where nobody owns anything. You just follow the herd. You know, you're following the fat of the land, and you go from here to here like nomads, and you live in little bands of people. And I mean, it doesn't really matter whose kid is whose, you know. I mean, maybe there's going to be a time where you're going to hand the bow off, and you're like, this bow served me well, and I'm going to hand this off to you. But, you know, maybe you'll just give it to one of the kids that shows promise, and you're just like, hell, you know what? This kid will put this to good use. So, yeah, if our society is kind of degenerating more towards that, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, a degeneration. Some people might call it progress. Others might call it a cycle. I don't know. Then yeah, we're kind of heading back towards this nomadic, nobody owns nothing, you know, but I feel like it's not going to be like that. We're just going to get the worst of both worlds. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you're not going to own anything, and the money you do get, child support will get it from you. So paternity will matter as far as taxing men more, as far as wealth transference goes. But, yeah, I don't know, you know. But I do think it goes into whether or not do men and women desire having kids as much anymore as they did in the past, you know. And I think birth control has come in and also affected that a lot, you know, because back then it's like people really wanted to, you know, procreate. And there was a right way to do that, which could mitigate the consequences. So yeah, you'd end up having probably more kids than you'd think, because that's what that was. But with birth control and things like that, even, you know, married couples probably have less kids than they otherwise would have. So I don't know, you know, people are different, but it's hard to say. I think most guys are indoctrinated. That is what they are doing, but yeah, not really. Also, guys, I just feel like chilling and talking for the most part tonight. So we'll be in and out of these videos. Just throwing that out there. Don't want to lead y'all on. Is having a family a big deal for men today? You know what? Let me put that as a poll. I think I'm getting poll vibes from this. This is going to be a Michael Sand question. And I'm going to put Michael Sand's initials here just to give him some shine on this. Is having a family a big deal? A big deal for men today? We'll just keep it yes or no. Okay, thank you for that. Is it important for men to have a family today in this divorce crazy society? Listen, I think that it's segmented amongst men. Some men are going to want to do that. Some men are going to probably want to do that and then have some experience with women and say, you know what, maybe the juice isn't worth the squeeze. This is not something I want to put up with, and I would have otherwise liked to do it, but I don't really like where this is going. Yo, Talut Bora, I see your comment. It's good to see you, man. It's been a while. Man, I hope D'Augusta's doing well. I haven't seen him for a while. I haven't seen him active on Twitter, and he used to be more active, so I hope he's doing well wherever he is. Shout out to D'Augusta. So she is not your wife, but she can divorce you. Sign me up. I would say a resounding no in the current social and economic, social and legal climate. Thanks, Luke, because women say we provide children, but do they really? I don't know, man. I think they take the whole providing children thing a little too far. And I think it's only like really attractive women that want to like play that card to its fullest. I think normal looking women aren't going to sit there and be like, I gave birth to the kids, I don't have to work, you know? Some of them might, if they believe they're like, you know, a Barbie doll or something, but this whole birthing the kids thing does not get you a lifetime of getting financed by the guy. I'm sorry. That's a complete wool over the eyes BS right there. You know, yes and no, and you indeed know what I'm talking about. Men don't want to get robbed blind from a 45-year-old toxic masculinity. Partner, decide to be a single parent. The single men will provide the number. Rolling on the floor laughing. We need to call people's wives concubines if they don't have a dowry. Exactly. Because that's what they are. Damn.
Your dowry. It's my right.
And it's like this whole, well, I gave birth to the kid. It's just like, and that's the only like other thing a concubine would be useful for. You know, it's like, if you want to limit yourself to concubine, then yeah, I guess play that role. Partner mentioned. Yeah, there it is. Klaus says, I think there currently is a change happening in society. The risk of family is taking precedence. Doing the right thing is getting less important. Yeah, I mean, I think so, man. And it's regrettable. Like, listen, man, if it's up to me, I wish it can be this thing where people get married in their 20s and we live in a well-ordered society. Every day I drive through my neighborhood and I look at the houses and I think about, you know, saving and me saving and thinking about buying one of these houses. I don't have big plans, you know, like my plan is to buy a house not too far from where I live now. And then, you know, hell, maybe even the next plot over. And then I could just knock the fence down in between these two and I could just enter both houses from the backyard. That'd be great. But yeah, I mean, it's just if things were more well ordered and there was just less BS going on, I think people could get it together and figure it out. But unfortunately, there isn't. And there is too much risk, you know, which is the part that really sucks, man. Like the right thing to do is also supposed to be the smarter, safer thing to do. But they really found a way to screw that up, you know, in favor of a welfare state and just, you know, wealth transfer from the man and removing the man from the home. Man, I got two guys right now that, and not just like from social media, but in my real life who like are hitting me up about custody battles. You know, I had another one throughout the week who I was FaceTiming with, and he's explaining the whole situation to me. And it's just like, man, it just sucks, you know? Luke, I wonder if guys marry truly for having children, or do they just marry for sex and feeling in control of a family unit? I'd like to think it's for children. Jim Sexton. Damn it, Jim or James? Good question. I think it is that, but I can say from my own perspective, legacy and kids were a huge thing for me back then. Yeah, I think so. Women want something they can't have, so until they cannot have kids, they don't want them. Back then, when I wanted to marry my first girlfriend, I wanted a family with children. Changed afterwards, though. Yeah, man. I listen, man. I think so. I think that's most guys too. Most guys, when they're young, I don't think want to be the matador. Like that doesn't actually sound appealing, you know. Like most guys want to, you know. I think most guys, especially when they're young, there's some woman that they really like or whatever, and if it was up to them, they would just marry that woman and they'd be happy for the rest of their lives. Which would be, you know, a boon to society, but unfortunately, they gonna mess that all up. Let me end this poll real quick. 67% say no. Is having a family a big deal for men today? 67% say no. Okay, yeah. 33% say yes. Also in biology, men of all species take each other out for the right to procreate their genes. If you are not religious, are you not an animal doing the same? Yeah, I mean, you could say there's a intrasexual competition. Now, most animals, I don't think will kill the other one. It can happen. But for the most part, like the wolf that loses will turn over and it'll like show its belly. And then the alpha wolf would be like, all right, get the hell out of here. And then, you know, that'll happen. It seems if having children is important to women, they wouldn't be having all these abortions. There's a lot of abortions going on. If having children is important to men, we don't need to marry for that. Andrew Tate says he has like 10 children or more with many women. Yeah, that's true. You know, that's true. That's true. You don't need to marry for that. Like if I was going to, you know, try to play devil's advocate on that, Michael, like I'd say, well, it would be good to have as stable of an environment as you can for the kids you do have. So that you can instill the values in them and all this kind of thing. You know, or yeah, you can do the shotgun approach where you have a bunch of kids and just try to, you know, some live, some die the way of the samurai and all that. But I don't know. You know, I kind of go back and forth, man. Some days, even with all the BS, I'm like, you know, I mean, I do believe it's the good thing, but I teeter-totter between is the juice worth the squeeze or is it isn't, and I tend to lean on it's not. But you know, sometimes I'm like, nah, it's good. Boomers sent their parents to old homes and their kids out the door at 18. Yeah, that's why so many people are messed up. I mean, you have a kid, the kid turns 18 and you're just like, get the hell out of here. And now they're at their, it seems, reading about the dowry stuff, like nowadays to me, it seems insane to just kind of let your kid go out there and deal with the hellscape that is dating without like any parental influence, or at least not much. And it's like they're just going to get chewed up and spat out, you know? And it's not, I don't know, a lot of people are just, it ain't looking good. We'll get back to the video, but whatever. I'm just chilling tonight, guys. I'm just enjoying these conversations, man. What up, Shaw? Long time no see. It's good to see you, Tulute, man. Hope y'all are doing well. Hope the Augusta's doing well, too. You will own nothing and you will be happy. Also, you will eat the bugs. That sounds like an EU politician. We can still adopt kids, yeah. That would be the unselfish thing to do. That would be the unselfish thing. Society, men do what's right. Women do what's right for you. Yeah, there you go. Dowry for daughters was already spent on retirement funds for the greatest generation ever, the boomers. Yeah, it all went to the Florida home. They sold their inheritance to Supercorps and used their kids for an extra holiday. I mean, yeah, you can't argue with that. You can't argue with that. Is it me? But I feel we are already a socialist state. I feel welfare. See, that's the conversation, Michael. I mean, listen, I've worked deep in the, I still work deep in the system. But from my point of view, we are a lot more closer to a socialist state than most people realize. You know, at least we have this, I don't want to call it propaganda or a veneer. I mean, like we're not like Sweden, you know what I'm saying? But we have a robust welfare state. And, you know, listen, it's not going to be Republicans in office forever. That would be insane to believe that. The Democrats will win if it's not next time or the time after that. They're going to eventually. And the more people can't get family right, which means less stability, people are going to ask for the government to do more and to give more as you get more of these Borg, as I like to call them, you know, like number 30,506 out of whatever the hell it is wants the government to do more. And that's what they're going to vote for, you know? Hey, I see Steve Sandman in here. Shout out to Steve Sandman. Please congratulate me. I got my first official hater after Elena's stream today. Well, congratulations. That must mean you're doing something right, sir. I hope the hate wasn't too vitriolic, but it certainly means that the words that you have strung along together has had a profound impact on somebody's life. And for every hater, hopefully there is somebody that you've affected in a way that they want to, you know, be positive instead of negative. So, yeah, shout out to you. So, yeah, Michael's saying, I mean, I think we're pretty, it's a lot more socialist than I think people would think it is. I mean, you know, there's a lot of money that goes out. Damn, sometimes I'm like, dang, we spend a lot of money. And then, you know, the whole other thing is fraud. Like, there's actually a lot of welfare fraud that, like, people never really hear about. I think people might hear about it, but it's just hard to imagine it because you don't see it. You know what I mean? But there is. The less men have wives, the more men will still be competing when they should be raising. Women do the same. Their competition is legal. Well, that's the, you know, like, your comment makes me think of this, and this is something I've been thinking about for the last, like, few months, is this concept of the off-ramp. If everybody's going to be the matador and there's no off-ramp, there's no way out of the arena, you just have to focus on being the best matador forever. Like, that's not going to make things better. There's just going to be a lot more death and destruction, you know? There needs to be an off-ramp from the freeway that leads into family life somewhere. But they gone and messed that up. So everybody's just, it's like that movie with that bus that can't slow down. I can't remember if that's just me thinking of a Simpsons parody. Well, that happened with him in the monorail. But that was different. But there was some movie or something about a car that was going fast and they can't get it to stop. I don't know how that movie ends, but I gotta find it and watch it. Sounds like it was made in a time back when movies were still good. Anyways, house, dog, friends, gym, a decent income, and I'm supposed to risk a good life for slim odds that my little family unit will stick together. That's what I mean. They ruined the off-ramp, bro. The off-ramp has been, like, horribly destroyed. And that is really what annoyed, that's the part that I'm annoyed about, you know. And it's not supposed to be just good for men. It was supposed to be good for everybody. It's good for the women. It's good for the men. It's good for the children. It's good for society, you know? And like with myself, man, the problem like with me is you can get married and you can sit there and you can like do the monkey dance and you can, you know, let the disrespect bounce off you like ping pong balls and all these kinds of things, man. But sometimes I think I'm the kind of guy where it's like at the first instance of disrespect, I will just destroy the whole family in the sense of like, oh, all right, screw you. Well, I'm going out and I guess we're filing for divorce tomorrow and we're just going to have to do it this way. I can't live in the house like this. That's a horrible thing to say. You know, I know it's terrible. You know, and that's a symptom of probably getting older and a bigger of a grouch or something. Your sperm doesn't magically get activated upon getting a marriage license. Good one, username. Then people wonder why men do not have friends. Maybe because those with partners want to keep their women away from other single men, since they probably mogged 80% of them. Yeah, I mean, there's no checks on nothing, man. It's just a big free-for-all out here. Nope to eating the bugs. Are you trying a German accent here? Yeah, it's a big no for me, too, and I was quoting Evil Darth. Please oh, yeah, gotcha. It's like people who are against the welfare state missed why it was implemented. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, man, the welfare state is really just a bunch of duct tape. On a culture that can't keep families together, right? It's like, oh my God, like this thing is splitting at the seams. And you got all types of fatherless kids out here doing all kinds of crap, you know, causing issues for people and perpetuating cycles of bad decisions, man. And you know, a lot of this was encouraged for a while. It still kind of is in some places. So welfare is just kind of there to pick up the pieces when it, you know, sort of just breaks, and it, especially child support, you know. Now, originally, you know, welfare and all that kind of stuff, end of World War II, these kinds of things. And there is a more of a profound history, at least, of how society handled its folks, the have-nots, you know, and there were different charities, and the church would do charity, and there were different means and methods and ways of dealing with things that goes back a long way, you know. Then we got, you know, the welfare system through Social Security. There were a lot of widows and stuff from World War II. Then, you know, they found out there were just a lot of people on welfare where they weren't widows and the husband didn't die. The people just didn't want to stick around. Then you got the child support, which was an extension of the welfare program. To create an enforcement arm in order to recoup funds, basically. And then, you know, there was all these civil rights things, and then the civil rights changed welfare, and then it became more of like, people view it more as a right or something. Then it's like, there was the resentment against the rich people, and now, you know, the middle class is eroding, and I don't know, as it gets worse, it has to go one of two directions. People figure out how to do family and reestablish order. That's not looking good. Or people are going to get more desperate and ask for more socialism and say, hey, this AI techno-feudal culture we're living in, we're going to need some money. You know what I'm saying? And we want money from them. And yeah, and then we all become part of the herd. Some folks make it out, you know. And Shah just lives quietly and plays his retro video games and tries to save money where he can, and every now and then goes traveling and maybe visits Malaysia and sees what that's like and tries beef rendang for the first time in his life and appreciates the cost of living over there. But then comes back, you know, and then you know, rinse and repeats, basically. If you do not have it, you have crime. Fixing that crime is more expensive than the insanity that would happen on the streets, especially today. No one in West can handle what Commie Block did. I think I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, welfare, a lot of welfare is designed to keep, really it's supposed to keep those elements out of your face. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're doing fine. Like, let's just get the riffraff out of your face, put them somewhere. But now it's like there's so much riffraff that they're kind of in your face again. You know what I mean? It's looking a little third worldy. I don't mean that as an insult. But for someone who has been around a few blocks in a few different places, I'm getting that feeling a little bit. You know what I mean? And yeah, how long can that go on for, you know? Congrats. Having a hater means getting relevant. What did you do? Tell them the truth? After the fall, or more like evolution of communism. The evolution of welfare is not what it was for, or what it was as is when it was made. Yeah, it has definitely changed. They've redefined a lot of that stuff. I live in Minnesota. We have a huge scam in the news. Somalians stole $8 billion that was supposed to go to autistic children. Damn, well that... Somalia? Come on, man. That's messed up, though. You know, I kind of want to look that up. Did that really happen? Minnesota? I mean, I don't want to doubt you. Minnesota, 8 billion autistic, or $8 billion welfare stolen from autistic. I know Somalians are kind of in the spotlight right now. Oh my God. Oh, come on. All right, let me turn off the ad blocker. All right, well, okay. Treasury investigating whether Minnesota welfare money went to Somali terror group. Al-Shabaab, Besant says. Well, that's not looking good. The Trump administration is looking into whether Minnesota tax money found its way to Al-Shabaab, a U.S. designated foreign terrorist sectary, and Al-Qaeda affiliate based in Somalia, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said Monday. Well, damn. Okay, well, I'm very curious about those findings. $8 billion. Damn. Oh, God. The Treasury Secretary shared a November 19th report in the conservative publication City Journal that alleged millions of dollars for Minnesota state welfare programs that ultimately landed in the hands of the terror group. Citing law enforcement sources, several Minnesota Republicans, including Rep. Tom Emmer, pushed federal prosecutors to look into the allegations. Okay, so we have allegations. I do want to see the proof. Democrat-controlled Minnesota has serious concerns about how you as the governor and the Democrat-controlled administration allowed millions of dollars to be stolen, and requesting documents and communications showing what your administration knew. Sounds like we got a full audit going on, folks. We got a full audit. Yeah, damn, that's one hell of a story, man. That's crazy. Somali scamming, yep. I told the truth about divorce and the nature of women when they become feral. The movie is called, yes, Speed, of course. Damn it, that should have been an easy one to remember. Let me look this up. Speed film, 1994. Ah, there it is. Yeah, see, this is back when you can go into a Blockbuster right here. Man, that's beautiful. Look at this beautiful film. Los Angeles police officer Jack. Keanu Reeves is in this. Angers retired bomb squad member Howard Payne by foiling his attempt at taking hostages. In revenge, Payne arms a bus with a bomb that will explode if it drops below 50 miles per hour. Damn, man, I gotta watch this movie. It does seem like kind of a stressful movie to watch, though. Like, I'd be like, oh, crap. This movie's all high energy. Elon Musk said that the government might have provided FX Trader. Shout out to you. Yo, if you're iTrevor, bro, I still need to do the pizza. I need to purchase a pizza and eat it on behalf of your super chat. And I was thinking about doing that one of these days and just ordering a pizza midstream, and then I would bring the whole pizza in here and probably put it there and eat the pizza. But I think if I do one of my CRT retro gaming streams, that would be the best time for that. Elon Musk said that the government might have provided basic income to all the unemployed due to AI. Is that communism? Well, yeah, I mean, what they're arguing is that we're moving from a capitalism that I guess becomes a heightened form of crony capitalism to become a new form of feudalism. Which is, there's this guy, I think his name's Varoufakis, and he's like a Greek economist, and he has this thing that discusses like techno-feudalism. And you know, I think an example of that will be like Amazon owns so much of the sort of digital marketplace, I guess you can say, and other sellers go there to hawk their wares, as we would say in a time that's far gone. But you know, in a normal marketplace, you might be able to communicate with other sellers. You know what I mean? And kind of get a better idea of the market, and things kind of check themselves in that way. With Amazon, Amazon actually sees the sales of all the sellers, you know? And then what happens is like Amazon sees something doing well. Then what they do is they make an Amazon Basics version of, I don't know, this USB-C cable or something. You know what I mean? Like I have a USB-C cable here, and now we have the Amazon Basics. Like they know by volume that they sell a lot of these. And this is an easy product. You can just get this like from China or something, and we're going to sell it for like $2 less and call it the Amazon Basics. And then they just squeeze the hell out of those sellers, and then those sellers lose, you know, and everybody's like, I'm just going to get the Amazon Basics one, you know? And it's kind of leading in, and then, you know, they're going to push their Amazon Basics one, and then they're going to charge the other third-party sellers to have a better spot to be seen. And, you know, most people are trained to go buy on Amazon or something. And with AI coming and all these things, there's going to be a higher concentration of money into fewer hands, of course. And so from this environment, it can be argued that there is a justification for a maybe, I don't know, more socialist solution to this, because now I don't know, you know, they're becoming so rich. It's an unfair marketplace. I don't know if you need to go all the way to socialism, but some type of regulation or something needs to happen. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing. Sandman, did you do an interview with Dr. David about the book Angry Women? Watch some of it. I would use the word tunnel instead of off-ramp, with a huge light coming your way. Oh man, good one. Dude, I need to get a freaking train horn sound effect. That would be hilarious. Just a train horn. And I don't even know why, but it would have worked right now. Yes, we did. Putting duct tape on an air mattress leak, at a certain point, it's more tape than mattress. Yeah, I mean, that's where we're at, really. It was about the book The Abusive Wife by Dr. David Edgington? The hell? It seems the welfare state came into being when we stopped doing the dowry. Would bringing the dowry back get rid of welfare? I think the dowry system allowed families to better self-regulate reproduction. And when we introduced romance as the centerpiece of reproduction, it became a hell of a lot more dysregulated and a lot more chaotic, with a lot more fallout that eventually becomes the public's problem. Because when people can't figure out families right, and then it spills over into like, crap, this is now affecting the other kids in the class. You know, this is now affecting, crime is up, right? You know, now society needs to do a cost-benefit analysis and think, okay, how are we going to restore order here? And that usually comes in the form of tax dollars and programs that are from the government, you know? So as families do a worse job of self-regulating reproduction, they cede control to the state, and then the state apparatus gets bigger in order to duct tape all this stuff to keep the whole thing moving. You know what I'm saying? Shaw is cooking. Oh, thank you, man. Oh, right. Did you guys see eye to eye? We facilitated a conversation of further dialogue. It was not my intent to have a debate. There were things he said that I disagree with. That sounds like a good, I'll have to watch that. Currently country hopping, Asian, and I dread going back stateside. I hear that from people, man. I hear that from people. Somebody goes to visit Japan and they're like, dang, I wish we could have stayed longer. I don't even want to come back. But I do hear that from folks, man. And I think it's probably just the people, and the people just probably seem in better spirits, you know. I think when you're around that, it can be healing. Being on vacation's always nice too. You know, you tend to get more sunshine. It's nice to see new things, you know, so that helps with the mind, I think. I was glad you guys interviewed him. Let's see. Did I miss one at Orem's? To be fair, oh my gosh. Is it true? I just saw that scandal. BCP spoke about it. Greg Black Conservative Perspective. They bought mansions too with the money they stole. What a steal of a deal for them. Wow, that's horrible. Imagine stealing money from kids to buy mansions for yourself. Somalians catching lots of heat, but they did nothing different from what many elected officials are doing right now, like Gavin Newsom, Nancy Pelosi, or any other insider trader. Man, you know what? You're probably right. Probably right. I'm not even, yeah. I'm not even completely against welfare for hard times. Me neither. I mean, I think charity is a inherent thing within any civilization, but they're not really looking at it as charity anymore. It's looking at it as more of like an entitlement. But there have to be limits. People living for decades on food stamps can't be right. Yeah, and people were doing that. You know, then they tried to change it in the mid-90s, and then it went from aid to families with dependent children. Then it went to TANF, which was temporary aid for needy families. But it you know, people figure it out. Fraud happens. There's a lot of, I call it spillage. There's a lot of spillage, man. Keanu was the lead actor in that film. I'm gonna have to watch that, man. Point Break was better. I'm okay with welfare provided it's used as A, theft insurance, or B, charity replacement. The moment it ceases to be other, I think banishment to a small island in the South Pacific is in order. Remember, boys, Soylent Green is people. That was another good movie, man. Is that Logan? No, Soylent Green. I'm thinking of Logan's Run. Logan's Run was a good movie, man. I want to get that on DVD. Said it before, he did. Technology, the new plow? Interesting question. Techno-feudalism sounds like a dark genre of music. Yeah, man. I don't know. Kind of makes me imagine like an AI techno-feudalism song about the dowry or something. I keep hearing techno synth. Sorry, guys. I'm just enjoying the chat tonight, man. We're just having fun. Amazon steals IP and sells it as their own. You're 1,000% right. They've stolen many brands' IP and rebranded it for cheaper as Amazon Basics. Sneaker brands and many others. Yeah, and you know, I don't know if this is Varoufakis or people within that camp or something, but basically it's fundamentally changing the marketplace in a new way. Basically. So we're watching something that is emerging, you know. So it's interesting. But in Dune, automation by technology was forbidden. Interesting. Man, I gotta go watch those movies. I know those recent ones came out. I'm so stubborn, though, I'll probably have to watch, you know, like the 90s movies, if such exists. People don't realize the welfare state strengthens government. It puts money back into their pockets and must increase their power, all for the sake of helping people. Yeah, it does in many ways. I mean, because the minute you take welfare money as a family or as an individual, you now invite the government to say, hey, in order for you to get this money, here are the conditions that are placed on you. We now have the right to interfere in your family based off that. I mean, that's literally the root of how child support works. It's like the minute the minute the mom goes with the kid or, you know, gets the dad out of the house somehow and says, oh, I'm a, you know, single parent, I need the money. The minute that happens, that's what gives the state license to now come in and, you know, Nottingham you know what I mean? So it's like, that's really the root of it right there in some ways. So if Shah's right, dowry will not only strengthen marriage, discourage divorce, but also stop child support and alimony. It should. It absolutely should, because it disincentivizes people wanting to divorce, especially if they have kids. Well, it at least disincentivizes the monkey branching. Back then, if an annulment happened or a divorce, the dowry would have to go back with the wife, you know, in full. And if the dowry was spent, you know, the money would be owed back to her if there was just cause. But the thing is like if she cheated or there was adultery, that money would be forfeited to what's left in the marriage, which is the kids, and the husband. So it disincentivized. The dowry is a check on hypergamy in a lot of ways, in the beginning and even throughout the marriage. It's interesting. Sounds like Shah may save America, president. Oh man. Well, God help us. I would vote for Shah. Thank you, man. Would you vote for Shah? This is not a USA only problem. Look up Australia and New Zealand channels on housing crisis. Our parliament has over 300 million in disclosed housing assets. We have 120 representatives. Our parliament has over 300 million in disclosed housing assets. Wow, yeah, that's a lot of money. Anyone that thinks that the president is anything more than the puppet, don't know what to say. Yeah, I mean, there's the donors and all that. Human society figures out how to care for children. The adults in the process are disposable. Yeah, I mean, that is really what happens. All right, let's see what's up with this male hypergamy.
I don't know. I have pretty privilege.
I do not feel that they feel the same pressure because men have to pursue women mostly today, while women still wait to be pursued.
Women get ready every day, makeup, hair, making sure you look okay, even keeping up with like waxing, shaving, all this. Like men don't do that type of thing. So I think that maybe they would care more about the way they look and the way they present themselves.
If most women got filtered out because men kept trading up, do you think women would start feeling the same type of loneliness that men report today?
What's interesting is like, yeah, I get men can like dress nicer or whatever, but most women are going to tell you that they're attracted to like a short haircut. They don't, some women really like hair, but most women want that clean look. That's at least what I've heard. They want that clean look. Now, some of them did, yes, like the long hair. But you know what I'm saying? And it's like, women do expect men to look a certain way. So men aren't going to sit here and I mean, other than like properly grooming yourself and being in like decent shape and having like a decent sense of dressing, like I think anything extra would actually turn women away, but whatever. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I would think so. I think that would be really hard just because, you may not look as good as like some of your friends or other girls that just to know that you'll like never find your person is really sad actually.
That's the Barbie lifestyle right there. That's actually what the whole Barbie movie was about, by the way. That movie is literally about girls liking to play with Barbie as children, and then when they hit puberty, they all become depressed and overly anxious because they were raised on a Barbie beauty standard. Like that's the movie, So, I mean, that's what they're saying happened to them. I have the very, very short haircut, as in being bald. Shout out to the bald homies, man. A better question would have been, in a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate yourself? And how would you feel if men only perused women rated higher than you? The only thing is they're highly likely to say, I'm a 10, Your person. Good looks on men is a sign of resource gathering. Good looks on women is a sign of fertility. Thank you, Aram. She looks 30 plus, aged out in super stock standard. Next, door cross.
Why do we call it a crisis when men can't find partners, but not when women reject average men by choice?
Because...
Hear that question again.
Why do we call it a crisis when men can't find partners, but not when women reject average men by choice?
Because these men go and cry about it very loudly online.
A little bit of shaminess there. Bit of shaminess. Anytime men bring up men's issues, they're going to be like, okay, incel. Oh, you're just crying and being whiny.
If the top 10% of the most beautiful women got all the attention, would people call that unfair or just how attraction works?
I think that's how attraction works. It's an unfair world.
That's just how attraction works. That happens in reality today. That's not even that's factually, that's what goes on today.
Why do we celebrate female choice but criticize male choice?
I have no idea. I believe personally it's a double standard.
I think on some part of lives, women have it harder than men. I mean, men can have babies and children at any age. Like women do have a time frame, and I think making choices like whether to prioritize family over career or career over family is a tough choice to do, and I think women have to make it more younger than men do.
Damn, well, I don't know if they've been making good choices. Resource gathering has a much broader spectrum of possibilities. Because it assigns accountability, now he will shame the ink. Yeah, there you go. Good question, but women are the queens of crying online. Yeah, exactly, right? What is TikTok full of more? Simp! What about the videos of women? Where are the good men hiding? Exactly. Oh my gosh. Do men marry for children or sex today? Seems sex. Am I wrong? I don't know. I mean, if it's I would, you could probably say for love, right? That's what a lot of people are raised on, right? But we love each other. But we love you.
In a world where men date selectively and constantly upgrade, who do you think will be left behind, and how would society react to that?
I think the less attractive for both men and women will be left behind, so to speak, or have a challenging time dating and finding a partner.
Like you said, I think the average looking women would get left behind because they would find like better, hotter, younger girls.
I don't know. I know there's like the pearl black pill of like there's always a simp, but to be honest, I think the average women are kind of being left behind because I think marriage has become harder for them. I mean, we were looking at that waiting to wed subreddit, and they can get laid or whatever, fine, but marrying and getting that kind of security at least is becoming tougher for them. So I've seen way more women complaining about singlehood than men. Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, they're on there just like waiting to wed. It's been 5 years. I don't get it. When am I going to get the ring? Where's my Stewie cry? Damn, do I have that? No, I don't think I got Stewie anymore. I thought I did.
What's the...
No. Damn. Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's this, So, and that is awesome. Excuse me, that is as someone not seeking out such content. Yeah, it just ends up in the feed. They marry for legacy and tradition and appeasing their family and society. I think so. I think men do. That's true. That's true. If women marry for love, wouldn't that mean men marry for sex? I don't know. I don't know if men marry for just that base instinct. Now, yes, that is what's needed in order to have children, but it's like, Michael, if it was just about sex, then I mean, couldn't they procure that from some other way? You know what I mean? Now, if sex was completely like banned outside of marriage, then, I think there'd be a case for that. But, I don't know if they get married just for that, because they can probably get it in other ways. They are better married because those men were going to be better regardless. They probably worse off than if they stayed single. Yeah, and listen, man, I think like it's better for everybody to be married, because for normal people, if you have kids, like that's going to give you a better elderly life. Like we do have to plan for our elderly life. Now, listen, I guess if you don't have kids and you're very responsible, you can save all your money and have a decent retirement, and maybe it won't be that bad. And there are some people with kids who probably live pretty far from their kids and will probably end up falling off one of those small ladders as they're trying to change a light bulb and break their hip right in the middle of their kitchen and not be able to stand up and can't reach their phone. It's, all of us, It's going to be a sticky end. I'm sorry. For a lot of folks. God help us. Hopefully not. But yeah, it's supposed to be, to have men don't marry for love. I don't know. I mean, listen, maybe it's changing, but for a while there were a lot of guys marrying for love. I would definitely say that. That's the toxic. Who will save that Chad Lights body count? Pearl is completely wrong on the take that women always get a safe landing. Not in this economy. The stats don't support that. 6 to 1,000 men getting married, and they're not picking most women. Yeah, I think like anywhere from like the 90s to about just around dating apps taking over 2014-ish, women were able to stick that landing a little better. I think it's becoming tougher now. Like, yeah, you still got the simp economy, but less people are getting married. So I don't know, and I think a lot of people just kind of don't want to deal with it or kind of see the bad deal that it is. So I don't know, that's a tough one. Yeah, like I said, NBC's exit poll showed men have kids at number 1 on the list. So it's what they marry for, arguably. Women have it at number 12, so they need help. Yeah, that's so weird. And then it's like, they're the ones who get baby fever, though, which is crazy. You know what I mean? I love telling older men as an adult MGTOW that their ex, they took from my hands back in the day. She's alone now. That's the only thing they get once they become men. If women were smart, they'd marry for companionship when they were old, because from 40 on, they generally don't look all that great. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think when both men and women get old, like that would be a blessing to have that. I mean, it only gets tougher. I don't know though. I have tried to talk to elderly. There's actually a subreddit called Living Alone or something, and that was one thing I was reading about once, just to see kind of what it's like for them. And, it's got its own challenges and stuff. For when they are old, I mean. Hey, I see Nuke in here. Yo, Nuclear Cadillo, shout out to you, man. Good to see you, bro. Salute to you. Damn, where was I? I guess as the risk premium for marriage went up, maybe guys in the market for marriage raised their standards. If I'm risking all my assets, she must be this hot. Yeah, I mean, that is the argument I make when it comes to the dowry stuff, right? I know traditionalism's not coming back. It's probably not going to be like how it was in the past. But since everything is so dang expensive now, like the simp economy and that safety net for women was arguably, it was a lot easier to hit a buzzer beater when, just the man's income can pay for the house and all these things, right? But now it's not really. There's a lot more awareness out there of how the whole thing could come crashing down, and it's like for a lot of normal average people, it's like you're saving this money. You have your pot of money that you're saving, and okay, I'm gonna put it into this house with this woman that I'm getting married to, and if she's not bringing anything, and this whole thing goes belly up, like I've spent a lot of my life saving that money, and the great divorce is going to hit real hard. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I think people are thinking about it a bit. Yeah, she must be this hot to get on this ride. Yeah, at least, right? I dropped a track in jest for the techno-feudalism. I'll have to pull that up later. It seems men marry because of church and social pressures. I think there's something to say about social pressures. And in some cultures too, that's the same for both men and women. Not to have sex outside of marriage and not to end up paying child support to unmarried women. I don't think sex is ever truly free, even now. Yeah, listen, sex is not you are playing with forces that can lead to a lot of different consequences. You know what I mean? It really is the matador. You are a matador in there, and you got your little red sheet over here, and the bulls are coming towards you, and you're playing a game with what could blow up in your face. You could step on a landmine. the propaganda is that there's birth control and there's this and there's safe sex and there's this new cultural way of looking at it. But even in today's world, like a lot can go wrong. And I know that because I saw it when it went wrong working at child support, you know. I saw a lot of the men who were getting laid, you know, back in high school and college. I was seeing kind of what happened to them a little later on, you know. Can you come back? Yeah, you know, it can be a little bit better, but it's not a game. It really isn't. What's up, chat? Shout out to you, Nuke. Man, Nuclear Cadillo is killing it on Twitter, man. I've seen some of your posts get some really like huge engagement, man. So great job on that, man. I've been watching you grow that. Good stuff. Say hi to Glenn. Actually, companionship is the primary reason for my current relationship on both sides, so you are totally right on that. If marriage was important to men, then live-in girlfriends would not be pressuring them so much to get married. Seems if men get the milk for free, they don't want to buy the cow, right? Yeah, I mean, you can say that. That's where this entire subreddit comes from. Waiting to wed. We got 60,000 women in here complaining that their boyfriends aren't marrying them, you know? Where's the other one? Oh, this was the guy one. My boyfriend promised marriage for 2 years, then flipped overnight when he talked to his parents. I walked away. You know what I mean? So they're 3 years in. You know, I think what happened in some sense, and like this isn't retweeted your stream. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, bro. Thank you, Nuke. That means a lot to me, man. In some senses, man, like I don't know how accurate it is to say that, but it's like as the dowry system moved over and romance and the love match took over, and then as we got like more closer to what we are, I don't know if this is a conscious thing, and I don't even know if it really exists. But I think women think that if they go out with the guy for 4 years and they pretty much like give him sex up front as much as he wants, right? Like in some way that is their dowry. Like, okay, I'm going to sleep with him for 4 years and do all these things. You know what I mean? And this is what Coach talks about, the bait and switch, you know, they do all these things and they're expecting that their like payment at the end of that is going to be that you get on your knee and put the ring on their finger. And then marry them legally with the state. And that's, you know, they don't have a dowry these days.
I have no dowry. If anything, I have a negative dowry.
So they're like, okay, I'm just going to be his personal whore. I mean, if we're lucky with the personal part. And then somehow this is just going to morph into a marriage, you know? And then on the back end, when it doesn't happen, then they're just like, oh my God, he was just using me for sex. Even though it's a shared activity. I don't know. And I feel so taken advantage of. Let's read this just for the hell of it while we're over here. My boyfriend, 32, and I, 33, were together for a little over 2 years. We were very intentional from the start. I don't know. Women always shoot themselves in the foot with this. They'll be like, I'm looking for marriage. I want something serious. This is date one. And then the guy's going to be like, yeah, me too. I would like marriage and family. And then it ends up ending and they're just like, oh, he wasn't serious. And he said he was. Early on, we even discussed timelines. I said 1.5 years felt right. He said 3 years. So I love like this natural pull, right? Like he's just like, shit, let me see if I can turn that into 3. And she's going low. He's going high. So we compromised on 2 years with the agreement that if serious issues came up, we'd adjust. I also wanted to make sure it was what he truly wanted and not just him going along with me. When I asked if he was sure, he told me he knew he wanted to spend the rest of his life with me. So whether it was 2 years or 3 years didn't make difference. Damn, so you guys are just getting together and he's saying that. I mean, if there's one thing that can't be trusted, it's two people that are like high on, you know, that chemical that makes people like the honeymoon phase chemical or whatever the hell you want to call that, you know. All in a day's work. Absolutely. Yo, happy bachelor, man. Welcome in, dude. Shout out to you. Good to see you. The men booty dowry. Well, they got nothing else to offer. The Sydney Sweeney post was a generational run by Nuke. Nice. I'll have to go see that one. Okay. Where are we at with this? Damn, this is a long ass. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I might have to summarize. So, oh, thank God there's a TLDR. Together 2+ years, both wanted marriage, agreed on a 2-year engagement timeline. He reassured me repeatedly he was ready, took me ring shopping. Damn. Man, there's part of me that does get a good laugh out of like where somebody really gets walked down the road and then it doesn't work out. I wonder why he went back on her though when he talked to the parents. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And said he knew he wanted to spend his life with me. When he spoke to his parents about wedding dates, they suddenly pushed back and overnight he flipped. Interesting. I wonder why the parents pushed back. Saying he wasn't ready, felt pressured, and had been pushing down doubts. We spent 3 chaotic weeks trying to... See, this is where women get crazy. Those 3 chaotic weeks, let me tell you where that chaos come from. We know which side the chaos came from, all right? So, but he kept changing his mind. I realized his inconsistency, fear, and lack of reciprocity were long-standing patterns. I couldn't build a future of family with someone so uncertain. I ended the relationship. My family is shocked. I'm heartbroken, and I'm trying to heal. Did I do the right thing? All right, now, I do wonder I wonder why his family pushed back. They probably like Reverend X'd her. You know, he brought her over for the Thanksgiving dinner, and she was just a loose cannon, talking all this crap, you know, hella embarrassing. And then it was probably his mom. His mom was like,
I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch. Cut that bitch off. Next caller.
That's what happened, you know. And, you know, a lot of women will do that too. They don't understand, man. It's like, you cannot be a loose cannon. Like, you gotta be quiet a little bit sometimes, you know. Let's see here. Damn it. He also opened up, okay, we got therapy in here. Oh, the family interference cancel proposal. All right, the hell with it. I'm sorry, I'm going to dig deep into this. Okay, at one point he told me the ring production was delayed and he'd have to push the proposal by 3 months. It was disappointing, but understandable, and so we continued our relationship with the knowledge that he would be engaged soon. Also, one thing that I feel like is missing from this is I wish... For context, he is Persian, non-Muslim, and I am a South Asian Hindu. So while we respected each other's cultures, interesting, both sides had slightly different ways of doing things. Okay, throughout the relationship, he assured me that his family were aware, on board. I wish they would go over the finances. I wonder what he does for a living and what she does for a living. It could be, I mean, she could make a lot of money for all I know. They're similar aged. Maybe he makes plenty of cash and like the mom was just like, nah. Maybe it was just good old fashioned, you know, a race or culture thing. He went to speak to his parents about wedding dates and he called me telling me they suddenly had a huge argument with him and he didn't know why. They said they didn't think we were ready because they'd heard us argue once. Well, his side over the phone, and even said they wouldn't have married each other if they'd known each other better. He initially defended us and was upset. Okay, this is a long-ass story, but it pretty much goes nowhere. But literally the next day, he came back saying he suddenly didn't feel ready, felt anxious, and needed more time. He told me he'd been saying yes to everything to keep me happy, hadn't fully thought things through. Yeah, I wish I knew what the money situation was here. They don't really talk about that. So that's too bad. Oh, here we go. Now that I've stepped away, I can also see that things didn't fully register before. His selfishness and emotional inconsistency, and how he often must have responded to my needs superficially just to keep the peace. He was always inconsistent with small things and chaotic, saying he would do something but not doing them or not doing them. All right, whatever. All right, talk about the money. As his intentions seemed genuine, I always put this down to a busy job, stressful lifestyle, and never thought it would translate into big things, as he has a very functional job. Okay, so she doesn't say it. My guess here is that he makes more money than her. Sounds like he has a very busy job because he's actually working and making money. Doesn't sound like she's an MD. You know what I mean? So I'm not getting that from this. And how little of that energy was... I also realized how incredibly loving... Yeah. You were so loving and you were always there to pick up his empty teacup and refill it if he needed it. That's amazing. All right, yeah, that's too bad. Okay. And then these are the other ones. Am I overreacting over my BF lack of enthusiasm with our future? So she's 29 and he's 40. Oh my gosh. Okay, that sounds like it could be a good story. I'm at the point of moving. 12 years. We broke up once 3 years ago. See, it's like she's going out with someone for 12 years. She can't get them to marry. And it's just like she's trying to swing up. You know what I mean? And she can't pull off the hypergamy here. All right, anyways. She was older than him too. Hell no. He was on her timeline. Yeah, the Persian parents were like, hell no. Yo, is this breaking news? Tim Pool got long range hole. Tim Pool, no. No way. He tweeted they opened fire on his compound on Tim Pool? No way. My needs, me. Hopefully not. That'd be terrible. Yeah, right, Luke. Women feel they are depositing their time to get married when they live together, so their hopes are injured. Seems after marriage, most women feel free from slavery. I'd say the first. Divorce rewards the women. They get over it pretty easily. Seen the parties. All right. Yeah, the divorce parties. Okay, back to this. We finally made it back, guys.
But would they find fulfillment being with like younger, hotter people? I don't know.
If men started saying, I don't date single moms, the way that women say, I don't date broke men, would that be seen as preference or prejudice?
It will be seen as prejudice by women, by some women, I imagine, but preference by men. But the answer is it's preference.
I feel like just because a woman has a baby, that doesn't mean it's the end for them. Like they still have, if it didn't work out with their baby daddy, they still have a chance to find their person. I love when men take on women with babies.
I don't actually even know what to say to that. Are there any folks in the chat that want to step up and be a real man? Oh my God.
I'm like, that's amazing.
I think it would be seen as prejudice, although I think it's fair. I think if you don't want to date someone who has a baby, whether you're a woman or a man, I think that should be your choice, and I think it's completely fair.
Yes, it is fair. That is fair.
Why is it not seen as prejudice when women don't want to date broke men?
Because you don't want anyone to be leeching off of you. I think men and women should be completely equal as far as like how much they work and bring to the table. But the truth is like
men and women should be equal in terms of how much they bring to the table. Okay, well, let's see what she says after that.
Do carry children and
see, it's like, somehow it's like, okay, so you have the kid. So now you are entitled to just extract any amount of resources from the man for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? Like having a child isn't like a set economic value. It all is just whatever you have, the woman is entitled to. And it has nothing to even do with the kids. And you know how I know that that's like the biggest BS in the world? Is that there is no law anywhere that I've ever seen that says, oh, wait a minute. I've never seen family court stop and say, wait, you had the kids? Well, you shouldn't even have to. You're entitled to all the stuff he has. You know what I mean? Like, that's all just garbage. And I'm also glad that, like, he literally made an episode called Women Birth, like, right after this one. So we'll listen to that after. I don't know, man. This whole thing about, like, the women give birth to the kids and therefore, the men has to do everything is all complete BS. And then it was never that way, especially with the dowry system, because women always had to buy into a marriage, which is the honest to God truth. That's traditional, by the way. So, what do you guys think about marrying a widow with kids? Well, she better have a lot of money. And, you see this happen in the reverse. What happens in the reverse is that a younger woman will marry a guy, that maybe was widowed. So the wife dies and there's kids. And then what happens is the dad gets remarried. Okay. And sometimes that woman has a couple kids of her own. So that guy gets remarried to this woman. She's like 15 years younger. The guy dies. And most of the guy's stuff pretty much goes to the wife, goes to his spouse. And then what she does is she wills all of that to her biological kids, and his kids just get completely cut out. Which is sad as hell, man. That's sad as hell. This is what happens to them. They get nothing. They get nothing. So yeah, I mean, the other way around, I mean, you know what I mean? That would be a little unsavory for me to do. But I know I understand the context of your question is in the sense of they didn't do anything dishonorable, right? Like they didn't divorce a husband that already exists and this kind of thing. You know, man, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be like my 99% no, to be honest. So probably not. Maybe if I had kids or something and, you know, something happened to that wife, then maybe, you know, that would be a good net benefit for everybody. And then there could be a happy family there or something. I wouldn't put a blanket no on it, but for the most part, probably not. But I hear what you're saying. Yeah, if they both already have kids, I could see it working. Yeah, there you go. But I'm sure not getting together with anyone who has minor children at this point. Yeah. Yeah, no, man. If you both did, I can see that. But other than that, no. If men would stop marrying women with children, women would stop divorcing their baby daddies. We got to stop. That's true, man. But the thing is, too, is like they don't want to get remarried. They just want to get the money, and then they want to, you know, they want like the live-in boyfriend or something until the money stops. Then they want to marry that guy, too. Right. That's the only situation it might work out for the both of them. I think the widow thing is different, but it's still a huge consideration. Absolutely a huge consideration. Listen, I knew one guy. Well, actually, she wasn't a widow. Never mind. She better have a lot of money. Yeah, she better be a freaking. She better be the heiress to Coca-Cola. Reason I ask is that every guy I've seen who married a single mom ends up being number 12 on the gals list. A buddy told me he'd marry a widow, but I don't think her being a widow solves that problem. Let me tell you something. When you said number 12 on the list, I get it, bro, because it's like I used to see this clearly in front of my face in child support, and I would see it through the computer system. And what I'd see is like I'd see a woman that has like 2 other cases in our system already with 2 other men, and now she's here with her 3rd child that's like a year old, and she's opening up a 3rd case against a new guy. And when I looked at this guy has no other cases. Like, this is his first kid. And his first kid is with this bum woman that already has 2 other kids with 2 other men. And she knows the system. This is all normal to her. None of this is new. She's back at the office. How you doing, Linda? It's great to see you again. And now she's opening up case number 3. And this guy just found himself embroiled in this chaotic whirlwind of just like bullshit. Sorry to cuss. And I would see that a lot, and I'd be like, man, like everything was good in that guy's life until he met that woman. And somehow, you know, she got him. She was throwing it down. She was doing, you know, she was just like doing everything to make him think like this was tight. She was sending him the sexting pics in the morning, doing all this stuff. She was giving it to him, whatever the hell he wanted, however the hell he wanted. And then, bam, they had the baby, didn't last more than 2 years. And now he's number 3. And it's just like, I would sit there and I'd work those cases and I think, my God, I don't think I could ever do that. Like, I can't be in the hospital with the woman about to give birth and hearing her talk about her first pregnancy. Like, oh, my first pregnancy back then with the yum yum and the diet, and when I get pregnant, like, I could never do that. You know, like, unless, I guess if I had my, you know, my kids from some prior marriage or something that didn't work out. And then I was like, you know, and now I'm in there and I'm like, okay, fine. But if you don't have any kids, I'm not going to be in there listening to that. I can't do that. You know, I don't want to give that. I don't want to be in that position. Those sound effects are crazy. Mario 64, man, I grew up with that game. That's why you've got to make your own money. Yeah, you really do. If you marry a woman whose ex is still living, you are still going to have combative relations with their ex-husband. Yeah, I mean, listen, whether it's even combative or not, like that's going to be a fact. Yeah, you're marrying into that situation. I think people got to start using the word marrying into. You know what I mean? You're not marrying each other, like you're marrying into something. And you're marrying into whatever the hell that person's financial, social, whatever the hell, situation is. You're marrying into that and you're like tying it and you're becoming one thing together, Never marry a woman with kids whose ex is still living. You could get shot. Yeah, I mean, it could get bad. Yeah, not their fault, but all the normal women problems still exist. Bottom line is they're not your kids and never will be. Tough situation if she's a widow, but it's not any man's duty. Nice if a guy decides to. But it's still a complication she brings to the table, not an asset. Yes, very much true. I'm in agreement with Don DeMarco. Exactly correct. If she's a Dateline NBC widow, how old it's the dowry? Does it go back to biblical times? Hey, Arthur, good to see you, man. So biblical times, it was bride price. At least that's what's mentioned in the Old Testament. So bride price is a different form of marriage transaction. Now, these are all housed under the umbrella term marriage transaction, which is a wealth transfer at the time of marriage. Now, depending on what direction and in whose hands that money goes into determines the kind of marriage transaction it's in. Biblical times, you had, like the mohar, right? That would be the bride price. And that was an amount that was paid from the groom's side over to the bride's family, right? So it's not going to the bride. She's not getting the money in her hand to use later for whatever she wants to use it on. It's going over to her family. Now, her family may then decide to use that money to procure another bride for a male in that family, okay? And when bride prices were big, that typically went hand in hand with polygyny, okay? So you would see a system where you would see men with multiple wives, okay? Later on, as society became a little bit more stratified and sophisticated, this moves along with advances in agricultural techniques. This is where the plow comes in. And you start to see rich, really rich, middle class. You start to see poor, really poor. Then the dowry comes in, right? And this is just about 2,000 years ago-ish, and it starts to go around and spread around until just a couple hundred years ago, and in some places just 50 years ago, where pretty much like all of Europe's doing that, and even in the U.S. to some extent, or in colonial America and in some American classes. So interesting stuff. The average time a relationship lasts with the live-in girlfriend who has a kid with you is 5 years. Yeah, that's true. That's true. The average time with the wife who has a kid with you is 7 years. There is no difference. That's because they destroyed marriage. You know what I'm saying? They went over to marriage and they gave them, they just gave them the old elbow drop, man, and that was that. They threw marriage out of a plane, man. This is what they did to marriage. This is marriage. Yeah, I mean, listen, at-fault divorce was at least better. At least they were like, okay, the dowry system's gone. We got to make this make sense somehow. Let's do at-fault. We're going to allow hypergamy into this, okay? We're going to allow hypergamy on the women's side. All right, that's going to be the norm, but we got to have at-fault. Then when they took the pin out of that and it became no fault, it was, marriage. And then to add further insult to injury, then they expanded family law to be able to establish paternity outside of marriage, right? Then you started getting that. Custody happens outside of marriage. It's really all about cohabitation at this point is what the court's looking at. Just because you're married doesn't make a difference. You still have to establish that you have a relationship with the child. Marriage only serves to make you legally the father, whether or not the kid's biologically yours or not. I mean, at this point. So, yeah, here we are. Mohar and Hebrews bride price. Yes. Okay, moving back into here.
if they have to be out of work for a while, then the men should be able to make up for that. So I would not date someone who's broke.
What if men started acting like women do in dating?
They should not. They should not. Women are women, and I feel
Women are women. What the hell does that mean? And men are men.
like guys, they should not.
Yeah, she's just like, don't make the game harder for us, please.
Women are women, and I feel like guys are trying to be girls these days. Like, get the pretty.
See that? It's like the minute you're looking for your own interests, it's like, oh, you're not being a man, as defined by them, which is essentially just servitude. If you're looking out for yourself, though, now you're a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Privilege, like, let the girl have that, and like, we respect you too.
What the hell did you say? Pretty privilege?
Guys are trying to be girls these days. Like, get the pretty privilege. Like,
You know what's so crazy? Like in the beginning part of it, one of the ladies was like talking about men spending more time to make themselves look better. Well, if men are going to do that, then I don't know, maybe they should get some of the pretty privilege too, right?
let the girl have that, and like, we respect you too. I respect men too. Like, it's not all of like we're all equal.
Oh, you could do that by signing the prenup at least. Women are women. Wait, I thought we were all equal. She ended it off with that.
Why aren't men allowed to date up like women without their masculinity being called into question?
I think if men were dating up like a lot of women do, I don't think their masculinity would be called into questions, actually. I think it would be probably see like as an alpha male type of behavior, trying to get like the hottest girl. I don't think anyone would doubt their masculinity.
Laban exploited this practice. Imagine having to work 7 years for the second wife. Yeah, so technically that's not called the bride price. That's called the bride service. Now, it operates, frankly, functionally the same. Instead of paying some amount, the groom would instead work for the bride's father, and that labor value would then translate into the right to marry the daughter at that point. So it would provide a labor value for the father and their family. Women are women. Wait, I thought we were equal. That lady sounds like a moron. I respect men too as a platitude. We are all equal.
If men could freely replace their partners the moment a better option appeared, how stable do you think families would be?
Very unstable. I don't agree with that. That's unethical.
I mean, women can pretty much do that. And the stability went out the window of a moving car a long time ago.
People still encourage marriage, or would women start avoiding commitment the way many men do now?
I think they're going to avoid it. They're going to avoid it because no woman wants to get left. And so they're just like, oh, no, I don't want to get left. So
See, I love how John does this, and he's asking these questions, but it's revealing the situation men are in now.
They're going to avoid it.
I mean, yeah, they would avoid commitment. If you're going to get replaced the second you get like a wrinkle or like bigger, then yeah, no.
There we go. And then this is why we're over here. My boyfriend doesn't seem as excited to propose to me as my friends. Okay. I, 28 female, and my boyfriend, 28M, known each other since we were 18. We were really close friends till we started dating senior year. So they were friends for a good 4 years. Then as soon as college ended, they started dating. However, we amicably went our own ways after graduation since none of us were in a super... Oh my God, man. Oh my God. Okay. I'm sorry, man. These just dragged me in. So if I heard this correctly, they were friends all throughout college, and then they had like a brief stint of dating. So the guy got his willy wet like once while watching her kind of get pumped and dumped all through college. All right, fine. Then they split and went their separate ways because they weren't super serious. And then they came back together in their mid-20s. It's sounding like, oh man, this is sounding interesting. Hey, Dan the Man, welcome in, man. I just got out of work. I'm listening while I'm driving. Man, shout out to you, Dan the Man. Luke says, this is Shaw played your Christmas track at the opening. Dude, yeah, man, we played the Christmas song. Thank you for making that, by the way. And I love that song, man. Perfect for the season. You know what, man? Around Christmas, we're going to do a fun stream. All right, I'm going to promise it to you guys now. It's going to be a little less serious. And what we're going to do is I'm going to get a cam set up on the CRT. We're going to do a retro gaming thing. And then I'm also going to order a pizza. And the pizza's going to come in here so you can see the whole circle right there. And then we're going to eat pizza and play video games. How about that? Does that sound cool to you guys? I mean, is that something you're willing to hang out with here for a second? we were friends. I found the carousel. Now I'm done having my fun. Yeah, and she wants the ring. Translating women speak fluently. I'm impressed. So other men got her prime, basically. A 28-year-old man and a 28-year-old woman are not the same age. Okay, let's see. I just went from the first 3 sentences of that. Like, let's see what she says. Okay, so she's 28. The boyfriend's 28 also. Known each other since we were 18. Okay, so he was big crushing on her, senior year of high school. He was like, damn, man, if she was with me, I'd get married. I'd spend the rest of my life with this woman. We were really close friends. Yeah, you know what that means, right? Like, yeah, close friends. Yeah, so he was in the friend zone until we started dating senior year in college. Okay, so he was in the friend zone for 4 years. All right. However, we amicably went our own way. Okay, went our own way after graduation, since neither of us were in a super serious mindset, and we got jobs in different states. Okay, we then didn't talk for 3 years. Okay. Dated other people, and when we were both single again, he popped back into my life and said he regretted us ever breaking up and wanted to try again. Okay, maybe this happened. At the time, I was still living in Ohio. Shout out to Raymond, and actively trying to move to New York. Okay, so she's going from Ohio to Sex and the City. We talked through all our previous problems, the ways we had grown, and all the therapy we got in the meantime, which made us better people, and went on a few trial dates before. Oh, gosh, the way she's talking is like she didn't want to get back with this dude, like, at all, before recommitting. A little after officially getting back together, I got the job I wanted in New York. Okay, so she a big city gal, and he decided to move with me there. Okay, so he decided to move to where she was with me there, since his job was always based in New York. Oh, okay, never mind. And he didn't have many friends left in Chicago. I never trust the word amicably in regards to separations. Yeah, I don't know about that. I love that stream idea. I'll be sure to watch that one. Okay, I'll for sure do it, man. I'm going to for sure do that. I want to do that stream, and I'm going to figure that out. What I'm going to have to do, though, is I'm going to have to get rid of this angle for the night. And I'm going to use that. This camera is going to be focused on the CRT. And then my other camera is going to be focused on the chair. And then we'll have Skycam. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. All right. Yeah, man. Sex zoned her. She friend zoned him. So he sex zoned. Yeah, there you go. I just set up my old N64. I've been playing GoldenEye. Man, dude, those are the best. Those are the best. Amicably, she broke it off and doesn't want to feel bad about it. Amicable is an absolute lie 99% of the time. Dude, I need to set up my studio like this. Hey man, yeah, if you ever want to, I can show you. If you want to just DM me on Twitter. I mean, if you listen, Pearl's your girlfriend, so I know you got all the studio help you can ever need. I'm just so used to like telling people how I set it up. So if you ever did want to see the setup, man, I'd for sure share it with you. But you absolutely actually don't need me to give you advice on how to get the setup. You have like the YouTube, legend there. So that would be sick though, man. I've been watching you grow. So, I'm always interested to see what you do next, man. Okay. All right. Paragraph 2. Whew, that was one hell of a paragraph 1. How long? Okay, thank God. Some of these people can write like a freaking novella. We date 1.5 years, the first time, and now we are 1.5 years into our new life together. Okay, so from 18 to 28, they knew each other. It's been 10 years, and they've only really dated 3 years out of that. Okay, now we are 1.5 5 years into our new life together, and honestly, it's going amazing. We communicate so well, are kind to each other, have made friends in the new city, and have lots of fun. I've been friends with him a decade, and we know each other in and out. Okay. We really respect and admire each other so much. Okay, so why aren't they getting... So what's going on here with the marriage? What's going on? We have some differences. He likes to have a little more alone time and is more quietly thoughtful than my vocal affection and isn't as adventurous or social as me. I mean, listen, I'm assuming this, but it sounds like she has no problem going around the block and doing the double monkey backflips. Shout out to Coach. And where he's a little bit more reserved and probably is a little bit more of a Dontavius.
You gotta stay gaming, bruh. Don't focus on no
so
girl. Just stay gaming.
That's what I'm seeing. Okay, but we don't know that. But he comes along to everything. Okay, so she's dragging him out to all these things and draining his social battery. He's also in a bit more of a lost place right now, sorting out what he wants out of his career life and whatnot, while I feel super clear, positive, and motivated. Fortunately, he has started talking to a therapist to get some coaching on this. We talked about marriage a good amount last spring and agreed on a timeline of fall 2027 to get married. Okay, so she was pushing the timeline on him. That's a word we're going to hear a lot of, guys, is timeline. Among my girlfriends, a lot are getting engaged right now. I've had 6 really close friends get engaged this year and more on the way. Talking to them, it seemed like many of their fiancés couldn't wait to propose. Yeah. I'm sure all of her girlfriends made it seem that way. I'm sure, she's over there talking to the girlfriends, and the girlfriends are like, oh my God, he was so excited. And he was just like, oh baby, this is the happiest day of my life. But that's them telling it to her. You know what I'm saying? So, come on. Okay, fine. They were all so excited, I guess. Talking to them, it seemed like many of their fiancés couldn't wait to propose. They were doing research, planning the timelines and everything. Several got engaged a year before they thought they would because he was so excited. I'm not in a crazy rush, but no, I'd want a longer planning timeline to do it yourself a lot and get the best pick of vendors. Oh, she wants the big ass wedding. However, lately it seems like my boyfriend doesn't think about it at all. We talked about it last night and he said he's excited but nervous. He cited a few reasons. He hasn't seen one of his close friends propose to know how they know. His parents have both remarried several times, so it seems like a scary decision. Okay, so this guy has seen divorce. He's seen his parents. He probably, saw all the bad stuff and saw all the crap, and he's just like, God, listen, if he's citing this as a reason, he's thinking about, the divorce and the family law and all that stuff. And as I mentioned, he is just feeling like he doesn't have a clear life compass recently to feel solid about it. I feel like this is something to say just to kick the can down the road, I'm just not sure yet, baby. This is probably a very real reason right here. Yeah. Okay, I told him I respected all of that, and I'm proud and grateful that he's actively working through it himself with his therapist. It's definitely something I don't want to rush. However, it's nagging me hearing about all my friends and how easy of a decision this seemed for all their fiancés, how excited they were. I know personality-wise, he's more pessimistic, cautious, analytical. Okay, so he's thinking about this logically than these guys and comes from a different family context. But it still doesn't feel great that he's not racing to the jeweler like my friend's fiancés. Gosh, man, I don't even know, man. Is this a red flag? Are the relationships that go the distance the no-brainer guys who can't wait to spend the rest of their life with you? You said he is in a lost place right now. There's your answer. If he doesn't know what he wants out of life, let alone feel stable, then of course he's not excited about marriage. It's not about you, but his own lack of readiness. Some people are perfectly comfortable proposing based on a gut feeling that they know they're ready, but others feel more stable. You've only dated for 1.5 years as adults. It also sounds like his parents have bounced from marriage to marriage. This post reads more like you are jealous of your friends getting engaged. Yep. Yes, she is. Let me just catch up with the chat and we'll get back to It's Complicated. Baby trap. Oh, man. Oh, no, not the baby trap. What he wants out of his career. She thinks he's not making enough. I think that might be one possible thing there. Yeah. I had a woman demand marriage from me, so I left her. Never. Yeah, hell no. Man, I got such a crazy story about that. Like that happened to one of my buddies. And he like made such the right decision not letting her pressure him into a marriage. Like what this woman ended up doing too was really bad. My World of Warcraft home is my studio. Man, shout out to the World of Warcraft fellas. I'm not in a crazy rush. I really want it now. I've realized I can't find any better. Yeah, I think that's what she's saying. No man is excited about marriage. Marriage is for women. All right, back here.
If loyalty became optional, would women still want equality or protection from the system they helped create?
Probably protection, because they created a pretty shitty system that they'd have to deal with.
How would they have that protection?
Well, I guess there's still the studs, because the guys aren't going to be able to protect too much no more.
If male empowerment meant
family law,
men prioritizing beauty and youth over loyalty and connection, would feminism support that or fight it?
Probably fight it.
And it's a good question because he's, you know, that's their preferences.
Just because it's feminism, they fight everything.
But some feminism is about being equal to a man in terms of income and status, but not necessarily sharing the responsibilities that patriarchy warrants the man to bear.
If men started saying we don't owe women love the way some women say we don't owe men submission, would that be called progress or regression?
I really love that question. Oh my gosh, because if they're going by their own value system, then they should say it's progress, but they're not going to want to admit it.
Regression.
There you go.
I think because you have to give and take in every situation, mostly every relationship.
Give and take. Well, yeah. I mean, then she might want to get this ready.
Your dowry, it's my right.
Feminism is about intersexual competition.
I feel like I think women straying away from submitting to men and men straying away from loving their women unconditionally. There's no progression or nothing progressive to stem from that. It's just gonna warrant a lack of unity and camaraderie amongst partners.
What if men started acting like women do in dating, only dating up?
See, all he hears is men putting on a dress and makeup. He like, if you listen to the rest of the question, which I barely have at this point, but I don't think he's saying that. He's not saying, men are going to start emulating women exactly. He's talking about these other things.
Never settling. What if men started acting like women do in dating, only dating up, never settling, always deserving better? What would happen?
They're going to start dating a bunch.
What's wrong with that? I mean, you're a king. You deserve it, okay? If everyone else out here is queens, then all the men are kings, I guess. Give and take. Both sides take, so it's fine. Saw an interesting video about how women will intentionally destroy each other's chances to have children so as not to have to compete. Yeah, I mean, that's where the whole gossip stuff comes in. I mean, because, destroying reputations out here and all that kind of stuff. It's not like men give and women take. That's not how it works. It makes fat acceptance and he's not good enough for you sound a lot more sinister.
To rich dudes.
Better. What would happen?
They're going to start dating a bunch of rich dudes.
Isn't that what
and at best they'll be concubines. And a lot of them can't even pull off the concubine thing. At best they'll be prostitute for some specified amount of time. Like they'll be sugar baby. A sugar baby is not even at least a bona fide concubine. At least a concubine can get like a solid deal. Sugar babies and prostitutes just get it for like whatever the hell the specified amount of time is. You know what I mean? So yeah, they're all going to date rich men, but they're not going to be dating rich men how they think they are.
Already doing?
I don't know. I'm not dating a rich dude.
We would see less families.
Isn't that what they're already doing? Yeah.
Imagine less marriages, the divorce rate continuing to increase, and just a lack of trust. Sure.
It's crazy that like there's all these bad things going on and it's like ripping apart the fabric, but it's like people don't want to fix the issue of hypergamy. Instead, what they want to do is just, shame men and just call out men. It's like, oh, you're not masculine enough, or you need to try harder, Scott Galloway style, frankly. Pumped and dumped, and then complaining later on when they can't even get pumped. Yeah, there you go.
Short-term partnerships.
What if men started acting like women do in dating? Only dating up, never settling, always deserving better. What would happen?
You know what I love? I haven't listened to what she has to say yet, but it's like, I wonder if she's going to say, because the only way out of that question, if you're the woman, is to say, that's not true. Women don't do that. Women don't always date up. But if they're not denying that that's what they're doing, that in itself is an indictment.
Do women do that?
Okay, so she did go there.
I don't think they do that, but I mean, I think they would struggle finding partnership, and I think people would be left behind.
Men today are told, become high value, go to the gym.
There you go.
Make money, level up. But if they did all of that just to chase younger women, would people still call it growth or call it shallow?
I mean, when you put it in the way of finding younger women, that can be a little shallow, but at the same time, like, any women could be that, young or older.
But don't men typically have a preference for younger women?
Of course. You always want the younger thing.
Okay, and then what do women always want?
I think you should look to better yourself for yourself, whether you're a man or a woman, and bettering yourself just to get to someone hotter and younger just seem like such a waste of time in the long term.
Because it's not for themselves, it's for external validation. If they did those things to for the betterment of their health and their own mental well-being and physical well-being, it would be growth.
Why are men told to level up to deserve love, while women are told to never settle no matter where they're at?
Because in this world, guys don't get anything unconditional. We got to work for everything.
Why is that?
Well, I don't know that either. I'm trying to...
I wish you'd also ask, why don't the guys make it conditional for women? Like, I wonder what the guy would say if he was just like, do women make it conditional? Like, do men set conditions on women? And if not, why not? And should men start doing that?
Figure that out. My dad didn't tell me, grandpa didn't tell me, but I just know the only people to get unconditional love are puppies and babies.
If women had to self-improve to attract hypergamous men, would they call that oppression or accountability?
That depends on who they is. Men will call it accountability, I suppose.
Probably oppression. I would feel like I'm pressured if I had to, make sure I look like this good every day just to be with someone. I would definitely feel pressured.
Do you think society would tell women to work harder on their value or blame men for having unrealistic standards?
As of right now, I think it's blame men for unrealistic standards.
Why do we praise women for having standards but shame men for having options?
Because having options is really about being non-committal and not loyal. And for women having standards, it's them getting whatever they deserve, and that's subjective to the woman.
Whatever they deserve. I mean, men have options and are being non-committal because out of their options, it's all hypergamous matches. And all of their options aren't that different from each other. If you got one hot chick over here, and then you got another hot chick over here, and then you got another hot chick over here, and then there's another one over here until I turn my whole seat around 360 degrees. Why the hell is a guy with those kinds of options going to choose one of them and be monogamous to them? Now, there's only one real answer here, and it's been provided to us by history. And it has become a convenient sound effect to me.
Your dowry, it's my right.
That's how society dealt with the problem of the high-value man. All right? The issue of monogamy isn't even down here. It starts up here first. How do you get the guy up there that can have multiple women? How do you wrangle him into a monogamous position?
What's the dowry situation? Exactly. Let's get down to brass tacks here.
That's what it is. Because when you end up comparing all these women together, these options, they're all very similar, unless one of them can actually bring something substantive. Then you get that guy off the market. And the more you do that, it starts to set things properly. That's what positive assortative matching, is supposed to be as far as monogamy is concerned. Yep, guys, we only marry 75 plus female billionaires. Call me shallow. A man or a woman? Who the F cares anymore? MGTOW is the way. Shout out to my MGTOW homies out there. You know, I think the part that like annoys me is I think people try to unfairly call MGTOW men incels, but that's not the truth. Like plenty of MGTOW men I at least think plenty of guys who have gone MGTOW have had experiences with women. They've been with women. They know how to get a girlfriend if they wanted. It's just at a certain point they decided the juice isn't worth the squeeze and the trouble isn't worth it. You know what I mean? I do think a lot more MGTOWs tend to be older guys who were, you know, either married at one point or whatever, and then they're just like, you know, screw it. Or if they weren't married, they've had a good amount of relationships and enough things have happened to where they're just like, yeah, not worth it, you know? Even myself, I feel like a MGTOW, you know, I lean towards that way sometimes. I mean, you know, I've dated enough, but looking back at it, it's just like, you know, part of me is like, oh man, thank God that's, you know, I don't know. So it's just funny. A lot of pads do, you know, all MGTOW at the end of the day always wins. Shout out to the MGTOW folks. If liberals are the new science test tube, let me see, where is that? Oh, it's not on my other one. Men can carry children too. Let's get down to brass tacks. Exactly. They can get over 90, might still be a long time. I can get Pizda if I wanted. I choose my own way. Yeah, and I mean, you know, I know you were married and you have kids more than most people. It's just funny because, like, I think it's an unfair allegation towards MGTOW. Most MGTOW guys, I think, have had relationships. And it's like, once you have relationships or you've been with women, it's not something, I don't really think it's something you forget to do. I think the guys who are in a marriage and then they come out and they're nervous about dating, like, I understand you could probably be married to someone for a long time, not date and be nervous. A lot has changed, but if you have dated, you know, enough in your life, like, I don't think it's something that you forget how to do. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. Yeah, but essentially MGTOW are guys that have said we're not, you know, and it doesn't even mean that you're not seeing women exactly. It just means you're not engaging with women in a way that's been prescribed by society, at least more recently, that's in the mainstream. You're just like, I'm going to do it my own way. I have 2 kids and 2 ex-wives, one of whom is in the other room. MGTOW is just claiming your own time, nothing more. Yeah, there you go, basically. You know what I mean? And like, there's nothing wrong with that. If anything, that is the most logical choice here. Or if you want to be you know, okay, fine, you know, I don't know. It's just, you can't be in the cell if you choose to go a different route. Choice is a thing, very much so. I have younger coworkers that are MGTOW too. Saw the destruction with their parents and family and just check out. Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of the younger generation are affected by watching what happened with their parents. And, you know, it's really crappy too, because the kids are the parents might think they're hiding it good enough, but they can see like that sort of resentment and the anger and the way mom's acting. And then now the way mom's acting with their new boyfriend and how she's like over the top happy about it. And then, you know, I don't know, they see all this stuff and they're just like, man. And yeah, I get it. Why aren't people getting married anymore? Okay, moving in.
Because I think having options in life is not always seen as a good thing. It's seen as like, are you gonna pick like the best option, the best looking person, or are you gonna pick who truly would be a great fit for you, even though that person may not be the hottest, but that would be the person that makes you the happiest.
A lot of people, unfortunately, are trying to get the best option. Now, somewhere in that design is supposed to be a series of rejections until you get to where you're supposed to be, but people seem so unwilling to do that.
What does it say about our culture that we're already halfway there, men improving themselves while women raise their standards even higher?
Means that maybe things can change better for the future and when it comes to dating.
I mean, well, I don't know about that. Sounds like it's just getting worse.
It says that we're a culture that evolves and changes. What used to work in the 1800s might not work in the 2020s.
Well, this is what the 1800s were.
Dowry, it's my right.
And I'm not sure what it's evolving to. A lot of things impact that, such as the internet. We now.
Well, maybe it's evolving to some form of this.
Which one of these broads has the richest father?
Yeah.
Or it's evolving to this.
And there's nothing more important than marrying a wealthy woman. As you get older, I'm going to teach you tricks on how to find a dumb lady that loves just tanning and comes from a family full of perhaps oil money. And then you can be a spoken for, well taken care of trophy husband.
And then someday
Surf
grandpa.
every day. And then maybe someday grandpa can also get on the money train and be a part of your rich wife's life.
All right. Not having options is a good thing unless it's women, but not men. Yeah, anytime a man is winning, just know, anytime you as a guy are winning, like somehow they're going to interpret that to be a bad thing. Breton, you got to listen to Dontavius. Exactly.
You gotta stay gaming, bruh. Don't focus on no girls. Just stay gaming.
You know what's so crazy, man? So, like, literally, like, over this last week from work, what I've done is I've gone and I've eaten dinner, and then I've sat in that chair, and then I played Legend of Zelda for a bit. And every time I start that thing and I hear the title menu, like, it just sounds so freaking, like, I felt so good sitting there playing it. Like, I just really felt a sense of calm and peace and just like, I don't know, it's just been a blessing, which I'm appreciative about. You know what I mean? So Dontavius really is right in that sense. I want to say that, you know, being a part of a rich wife's life. Yeah. For grandpa, you know,
Now I have a more warped but universal understanding of what beauty is and what status is now due to social media, for example.
Are men truly becoming lonely, or are they just becoming aware of the same selective system women have always used?
I think they are becoming more aware, but also men are lonely because of social media. It has ruined dating, and people are out here thinking they have unlimited options.
well, and I mean, with no fault, like, you know, okay, like it used to be, at least with at fault divorce, like you were going to have some chance and you're like, okay, you know, I could probably make it work. At least the whole bottom won't be pulled out from under me. But with no fault, it's like people think they have options and then they can just destroy their marriage and peruse these other options. It's just such a mess. It's not even funny. I love fancy dinners when my girlfriend pays. Shout out to you, man. Klaus.
Instead of finding true connections.
True connection. Okay, yeah, this is the romantic love. This is the promise.
But wouldn't you say that women are the ones who have more
fantasy.
options than men? Because there's a male loneliness epidemic and not a female loneliness epidemic?
Yes, but I think that women are more selective than men are.
But don't women have the privilege of being more picky because they have more options?
Yeah, I mean yeah, but at the same time, like if you're
See, and it's like I still can't like shake. It's front end selection, you know. But for back end, then they end up on that subreddit waiting to wed.
an attractive man and you have money and you have all the things that women are looking for, then
How are you gonna get that guy to settle? How are you gonna get that guy to settle?
it's reversed.
But aren't high status men a lot more rare than attractive women?
Yeah, there's one hot guy for every 10 hot girls. That's just how it is in this world.
I think men have always been lonely, will continue to be lonely because there's not enough jobs for rich guys.
Jobs. They took the jobs. Oh, there's a female loneliness epidemic, all right, just for the older ladies. Yeah, I think exactly. I think you're right there. And, you know, part of the propaganda is like they can't put that in the mainstream because then it's like it's going to undo all the other stuff that they're trying to portray, you know. They all end up waiting to wed, and they're going to be sadly disappointed. Exactly. Be honorable. She said it. Attractive and money is what women are looking for. Nothing about companionship or love. There it is. Yeah, there was that subtle admission.
Guys, because that's all women want right now. You could have every jobs that for rich guys, because that's all women want right now. You could have everything else except for finances, and you're still going to get left in the dust.
If both sides keep trying to date up, who's left to actually pair up?
Average-looking people that have values of yesterday.
At the end of the day, do you think equality means both genders competing or both learning restraint?
I think it means both learning restraint.
Is a woman wanting the bigger, better deal the equivalent of men wanting the younger, hotter chick?
Absolutely.
No.
This is where I think John's like male hypergamy is, in the sense, like, you know, I look at hypergamy as having to do with marriage. Now, I know there's been these recent sort of stretching out of the definition to say it's about relationships and other things too. For me, it's strictly about marriage. But if we go outside of that, then it's like both men and women are always looking for that best deal they can get. So you can say this instinct. If women only have to offer their body and beauty, then, you know, men are looking for, if that's all women have on offer, they bring nothing else with them, the younger, hotter chick, which is, you know, the equivalent of the other side of that.
No, I think a lot of women are looking for a better deal because they maybe have struggled and they just want someone that can bring them stability, love.
Gosh, man, I know we talked about this before, but do you remember in that movie, Mrs. Doubtfire, how the wife like literally leaves Robin Williams and they have like 3 kids and somehow she's going out with Pierce Brosnan somehow? Like literally gold, like James Bond. I mean, you know, not in the movie, but somehow this guy that, you know, plays James Bond in another movie is going out with this divorcee with 3 kids. Hey, do you guys remember that episode of The Simpsons where Milhouse's parents get divorced? And it all happens at that dinner party that Marge threw. And then Luann gets a new boyfriend, and it's like this guy named Pyro who's like this bodybuilder that's like a stunt man and has like a sports car and everything. It's just like, I don't know, it's just so funny, you know? Bro, I got an ad for a dating site. Oh gosh. Yeah. Suka's always shopping for a better deal.
Love, because for me, I know that's what matters the most. Like love, being stable, someone that's not gonna, you know, get with someone better tomorrow because they just can.
Why does the family
love and love's supposed to keep all that from happening? Supposed to prevent
court only punish
tomorrow because they just can?
Why does the family court only punish one gender for pursuing their hypergamy?
I don't know, because that's just how the world is. The moms are going to be favored no matter what.
Because,
well, culturally speaking, at this point, only men are expected to bring money. So family court goes after the money.
Because a lot of those laws were formed centuries and decades ago, and they haven't been updated.
I mean, well, what's crazy is a lot of the family law from centuries ago actually made sense. Shout out to family law from centuries ago. We miss you. Now, a lot of the laws are actually a lot more recent than, you know, you could say decades, fine, but centuries, hell no, man.
If equality means both genders can be as selective as they want, then what happens when men finally stop settling?
Women have to become accountable and actually upgrade themselves besides just being physically attractive.
Would society call that equality or ego?
Equality.
Well, if they want to shame men, they're going to be like, it's ego. You just need to...
I feel like it's both, but I want to say it's probably more ego.
Why?
Because men have really big egos.
I mean, women have gargantuan... Come on. Like, that's going to be a man-woman thing. I mean, we've seen some legendary women egos out here in the world. Come on now.
Society will call that ego.
Why?
It has nothing to do with characters and the treatment of someone else. It's all about aesthetics, things that aren't aesthetics and material, things that are lacking substance.
And lastly, do you think the dating market would survive if men started valuing themselves the same way that women do?
Oh,
You know, I think that's a great way to end the episode.
survive is
on.
a strong word. I don't know. I'd definitely dwindle. It'd be like this. Like this. You see that? This. Yeah, it'd be really low. Barely surviving, if that. I'd say life alert.
Life alert. I hope men remember to value themselves in that way and live that out. Completely wrong. Laws get updated all the time. Exactly. Family law from centuries ago. We miss you. Shaw, a quote to remember. Yeah. I mean, it's true. It's stuff like Miss Doubtfire and The Simpsons that create the delusion for women who think they have better chances when they divorce. Yeah, exactly. That's all like the propaganda right there. Women are the real narcissists with massive egos. Absolutely. Hell yeah. Dan the Man, or DMG, that's government propaganda. Especially family law, and the changes the marriage contract while it is running. Oh, yeah, and that changes the marriage contract while it is running. And what business can a third party change a contract? Yeah, exactly. Things are just changing as you're married. Man, those guys that got married in like 95, tough times, man, tough times. All right, let's see what's going on here. The funniest part about this question is none of the women think they're average. Yeah, the cognitive dissonance is insane. Privileged group will not give up privilege without a nasty fight. 10% play, 90% pay, 100% transactional. You know, this is, you know, what comes to mind is like Coach's marriage wheel, you know, Coach Greg Adams' marriage wheel. You know, like this is the bait and switch, you know, all the stuff they're talking about with the standards all leads to a bait and switch, unfortunately. The bait and switch. Privileged group will not give up privilege without a nasty fight. Yeah. The more women talk, the more I want a nuclear apocalypse. I respect men too. Proceeds to cut off a male interviewer asking a question. I've reached a point where when a woman starts speaking, my brain just shuts off my hearing. Yeah. I mean, if someone says as a woman, that's like instant brain shut off. I feel like that's so mean. I don't know. F out of here. It's fine when y'all do it. It's a problem when we do it. Expecting an honest, unbiased answer from a woman is a fool's errand. You asked a lot of great questions here. Unfortunately, some of the people don't have the experience or the perspective to answer them. I don't need a man. I got taxpayers. There's welfare in a nutshell. People think they have unlimited options. Can we please cut the BS and just say women? The black guy with the cornrows is very wise. The two black guys gave some great answers, especially the guy with the braids. One of your best videos. You're encouraging people to think critically. Great work. Please don't confuse waxing and washing your hair with having to sacrifice and grind every day to be considered viable by an average woman. The core strategy is based on outsourcing survival responsibilities. Attraction is not about love. It's about making men work for the privilege of access. Destroying someone socially is safer and more effective than direct confrontation. Sex is not about pleasure. It is a tool to control male behavior and resource flow. Playing the victim isn't a weakness, a strategic defense mechanism to avoid punishment. Extortion tactics become automatic over time because the brain rewards them. Okay. All right. You know, I'm thinking maybe we do the Manosphere highlights daily video, or we can do the other It's Complicated video. I kind of want to do this one, but you know what? Let's do a poll here. You know, so we'll do which video next? Question mark. And then we'll do John Cena. Manosphere highlights daily, or we'll do It's Complicated channel women birth. There we go. This one, you know, I think this one's interesting. This one's interesting. Let me just catch up with chat while we're waiting. Feminism was propagated by the CIA. We got some Cyrillic there, I believe. Remember that reel I sent about how the CCP were banning dramas of rich CEOs? Oh my God, yeah, we got to watch that. Yeah, let's get some Instagram in here real quick. Let me just make sure to keep the screen off the screen. I don't want you guys to see what's in my bookmarks. That might complicate things for me, and not in a good way. Okay. Yeah, this is the one. Okay. Okay, let me just get rid of that screen. And then I'm going to tabulate the volume here, just down, because it's always really loud. All right, thank you for that, Dan the Man. Yeah, let's watch Dan the Man's video that he shared. Dan the Man shared this with me. Thank you, Dan the Man. Okay, so this is a reel about China banning TV dramas for making women delusional. So let's see what it says.
I recently learned that these TV dramas, which are so popular with women in China, are undergoing heavy censorship rules because the themes of romance in these shows have been deemed by the CCP dangerous. They're sending the wrong messages to women in their country and making them delusional about their own romantic prospects. And I saw this one clip of...
They're learning from us, man. They're learning from us over there. They're like, we got to get ahead of
a
this.
Chinese news anchor explaining, listen, stop being delusional. No CEO will ever randomly fall in love with you. The country is currently proceeding to manage TV dramas. Deputy Director of State Administration of Radio and Television said the TV dramas that are leading to mass delusions, such as miracle plot twists in someone's life, a random CEO who falls in love with a random normal girl.
Yeah.
And
it's like some 50 Shades of
And
Grey.
they should be carefully managed to stop this mass delusion caused by them and establish a safe environment for TV dramas.
Oh gosh, man, I wonder if that, let me see if I can find another source. That does sound, I mean, that sounds like something that could happen. China bans TV dramas for making women dating standards delusional. Let's see if that actually has any. I'm gonna have to brush up on my Chinese in about 13 seconds. YouTube, Facebook, IG, Timcast. I don't know. I'm not seeing any like source that isn't. I mean, this is possibly one. I don't know. Anybody could have put these. So I'm gonna choose to believe it's real. Possibly. Maybe they're not completely, because you know, if these dramas sell really well, there's gonna be a lot of hurt business owners that can't have a sure product that sells, but. It's funny nonetheless. Thank you for that, Dan. Women are the ultimate. Oh, damn it. I wanted to read the comments on that. I thought they'd probably be pretty funny. Just a second, guys. I need to navigate my bookmarks again. Don't want you guys to see what's here. Could be a huge issue. Okay. Oh, damn it. That's not how I wanted it. Okay. Yes, I refuse to get married because I'm still waiting to reincarnate into a princess from the Ming Dynasty and help avenge her murder by the scheming mistress using my modern knowledge of skincare and ramen making. Imagine the discussion. Oh my God, we need to censor this. Why? It's giving our women standards? Okay, we got our simp reply. Some of the best romance movies are about cheating, so China might be right about this. I mean, listen, I think China's just looking at what romance dramas evolved here. They're trying to get ahead of this before it becomes Morning Glory Milking Farm. They know what's coming down the pipeline. They have seen the evolution. See, they're going about this scientifically. They've seen the evolution of the romance novel into like the smut book. There is always a CEO. I'm like, how many do you think there are? Let's do one of normal people falling in love. Are the women really thinking this? I'm not sure. I realize it's a different culture, but because in America, we would never believe that a drama would reflect reality. Are they wrong? I am still looking for Mr. Darcy. At least some of these people can admit it. Base CCP, we need this in the West. I used to be against those kinds of censorship. Not anymore. Nothing of value will be lost, and limitations create creativity. Now that things are becoming like actually bad, people are like, you know, maybe having some censorship was a good thing. You know, like maybe we should regulate what people, put into stories. The preacher is telling the truth, and it hurts. Oh, like the Disney princess syndrome that destroyed American women and the reason men have stopped dating in America? By 2030, an estimated 45% of women in the U.S. aged 25 to 44 will be single, unmarried, and without children, according to a Morgan Stanley report. American men will be searching overseas for wives by 2030. Yeah, I mean, that's what it's looking like. So delusion isn't demographically or geographically isolated. Great, so they're all the same. It's been heavily censored for years. Example, series can no longer be longer than, I think, 40 episodes. Palace dramas with back palace plots are also heavily censored now. Okay. Which actually might be a really bad mood for China, because when it comes to soft power, their dramas play a huge role in that. I wouldn't have a Vicky. Okay. Managing hypergamy and female delusion. America should take notes. Okay, that's pretty funny. All right, looks like we're 71% for the John Cena one. Okay, yeah, we're going to do the John Cena video next. John Cena. Okay, fantastic. Well, thanks for that, Dan the Man. That was pretty funny. Women are the ultimate bait and switchers. AI, Google, feminism propagated by the CIA stems from the 1970s that the agency used liberal and non-communist organizations, including women's groups, as front organizations during the Cold War. MHD is the man. Yep. Great content coming from him. In 1975, Friedan suggested the CIA might be responsible for a paralysis of leadership within the movement, using agents to push radical or pseudo-radical agendas that would alienate mainstream support. Not sure. Hey, it might be true. It sounds a little fringe, but, I like fringe. There was another one in Japan where the opposite. Marriage and family-themed anime still didn't work to get women to have kids. Japan birth rate has plummeted. Women aren't having kids. Well, yeah, I mean... Hi, Sean, everyone. Hey, Elena, shout out to you. Great to see you. Titanic was a scam. Rose was at 304. China is way ahead of us. Elena, they're watching us deal with Morning Glory Milking Farm and similar types of books, and they're like, we can't have that in China. We need to stop this now. This needs to stop now. Gloria Steinem... In 1960s, before she founded Miss Magazine and became a leading figure in the women's movement, she worked with the CIA-funded organization called the Independent Research Service. Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. 304s are normal for Hollywood. China saw their women falling in love with minotaurs and said, yeah, they saw that over here, and they're like, enough is enough. Hi, Elena. Nah, most people do stuff like this. Maybe not a CEO, but someone rich. You want to get a movie out there, you have to promote 304s in charge of the institutions there. Yeah. All right. Okay, guys. So we're going to go ahead and do John Cena. All right. So there's John Cena. I think, most would consider him a masculine man's man. So let's see what happened. So John Cena was right. Nikki Bella pays $200K in divorce, not having prenup. All right, well, let's go and get the story here. I listened to this once. I can't remember. I think I was driving or something, and it sounded a little gold-pilled. So I was like, well, let's see what's going on here.
How did you navigate breaking up in front of the world, Nikki?
Well, having two public breakups is what everyone saw. Yes, I had to
man, this is looking very Akash Singh-like.
Give him $200,000.
Welcome to Manosphere Highlights Daily, where we call out effeminist foolishness, expose women's hypocrisy, dismantle double standards, and stand up for men. Almost 4 years ago, we made a video about John Cena insisting that Nikki Bella sign an airtight relationship contract. They weren't even
a relationship contract. That's interesting. See, now that seems to be in the spirit of the old marriage contracts.
Married. Nikki was just moving into his house, and John already knew what time it was. 75 pages. We still don't...
Okay, 75 pages. It sounds like some real legalese. Shout out to the lawyers out here for getting that written.
Know everything that was inside it, because remember,
Man, I would love to see that 75 pages, and hopefully, like, we can have a template of that for the gentlemen out there. Like, that would be so nice to see that and read that and dissect that and think about that and talk about that. Wouldn't that be great? John Cena is a legend. He signed the anti-finesse contract. Yeah, he had her sign it too. It sounds like John Cena married a woman richer than him. Dang, he really is the man. I don't know if she was richer. Well, let's see what it says about I can't remember exactly.
Can't see John Cena.
But I think he at least, made something make sense. But let's see.
Still don't know everything that was inside it. Because remember, you can't see John Cena.
Where's he at? John Cena. John Cena, where's he at?
I have no idea. I haven't seen him.
Bro, what is he?
But trust me, you could see the point he was making.
You're right. John Cena just saw probably too much crap happen to his friends. All these other people, they all got screwed. John Cena's sitting here like, man, he's just sitting here like, man, he's listening to this.
I have no dowry. If anything, I have a negative dowry.
Now, maybe she had some money, but he was definitely like,
No dowry. It's my right.
okay, so let's hear about how he came up 200,000.
I should have told you before you packed the first box. I guess the reason I didn't ask you when I asked is because I didn't want to take something so wonderful and immediately it up with something so business. This is what my life is. This is what it's become.
Hey, so this is what it looks like when a man's in business.
You met my family. You think my mom paid for that house herself?
Yeah.
See that? He's thinking about his family interests. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tie myself to you. And now you're going to have this power over my family and what they got, and if you affect me badly, all these people that depend on me are going to be adversely affected. Shout out to John Cena for putting his real family first, not whoever this non-kin person is over here. But yes, I like that because it reminds me of how it used to be done. People were they were considering their overall family's interests when negotiating something like this. Okay, let's move on. This is nice.
She didn't. My brother lives in that house. They're expecting a child. My younger brother who's got medical problems, I make sure he's okay. I always tell them I'm a horse brother, but I try the best to be the best provider that I can.
Yep, provider to his kin and his actual family. And, you're not going to sit here and come in here and then start telling us how that's going to all go down.
I just don't want to ever be in a position where that's in jeopardy.
John Cena then
that's beautiful. I don't want to be in a position where that's in jeopardy. Oh, my God. I'm loving what I'm hearing right there. I want to see that 75-page contract. Great idea. Yeah, I would love to. 75 pages, I would use Claude to provide the TLDR. Man, listen, I'm not even going to lie to you. If I got that 75-page contract, like the way I am, I would literally I would read every single piece of ink on those 75 pages. I would probably be rereading paragraphs and lines. Like I would actually sit there and read it. Even if it's a bunch of just formal legalese, I want to know every single thing that's in there and how this works, Yeah. John Cena is a very practical man. That's probably why he speaks Chinese. Yes, that is. Took lessons from the CCP. Dowry or prenup, kind of the same thing. Either you bring someone to the marriage or promise not to take anything from it. It's the same thing. It's not exactly the same thing. I mean, the prenup, I would say, is acknowledging the hypergamy, but trying to create a shield against it. The dowry is saying this isn't hypergamous because we're finding someone in a similar, status level. But I hear what you're saying. I hear the spirit of what you're saying there. I tried searching for it, couldn't find. Man, if somebody finds that 75 pages, send it over here, please. I don't know if we'll be so lucky. It would be nice to see it though. And so it sounds like it wasn't a prenup, but it sounds like a relationship contract. Now, there's all kinds of, that sounds like kind of a new thing. Like I would be interested in the enforceability of something like that. There must be, that's why I would love to see how that was written, Interesting. Shaw, sign here, initial here, sign here, and initial here. Yep. Prick your thumb. Let's go ahead and get a thumb blood print right there.
Nikki and men in general with a full red pill sledgehammer.
I don't think date nights could ever get old, but I think so many years down the road to keep things exciting, I think kids help that in a relationship.
Yeah, she knows that it's going to get less exciting. All right, now here the investment phase. This is actually a great. I don't like to stop when people are blinking, but this actually works. Like she's talking and he's just like, oh. This is her making her best case right here, by the way. If I have to have a 75-page prenup, I'm not getting married at all. Yeah, just avoid the state contract. Still seems like the best. Can someone, but looks like, I don't know if they were married. It seems like they had a relationship contract, which is interesting. I mean, because of his worth, can someone look for it, or his net worth, look for it? It wasn't a prenup, it was a relationship contract before she moved into his house. Okay, got it.
I see the point of kids after you've been with someone for so long.
So basically what you just said across the table is, you will get bored of me.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. Oh my God, this is when I decided to save it on the playlist. Let's hear that one more time.
Full red pill sledgehammer.
I don't think date nights can ever get old, but I think so many years down the road to keep things exciting, I think kids help that in a relationship.
Keep things exciting. Oh man, see, she just messed it up here.
I see the point of kids after you've been with someone for so long.
So basically,
and it's so weird. Like, it's kind of weird. Like, she's talking about having kids in order to keep things exciting. It seems like an odd reason to talk about wanting kids that way. I don't know. It seems a little odd. Does that seem odd to you guys? Like, if people were like, why would you want to have kids? And you're like, well, I think it keeps a relationship exciting, you know? Like, when the initial stuff kind of starts to wear away. Like, maybe I'm just thinking a little too hard about what she said, but it seems a little odd. It just seems odd to me. You can pay for a lawyer for your prenup or your divorce. Guess which one is the better investment? Klaus coming in with the rational points here. If that 75-page contract works, I would be down for marriage. Shout out to Dan. She wasn't pitching her best. She was trying to baby trap. Yeah, she messed up there. She messed up. She went home kicking herself. It seems more like they're pawns, Lamal. Shout out JP. She wants to be entertained. Exactly. 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 Hope it was in Chinese and she has to pay money to translate it. That's not a reason to have children. Thank you, Mad Villainy. Shout out to you. And Tacticus. Shout out to you. Username says in the contract, John wrote, although I do not wish to be formal, I do not want there to be any misunderstanding regarding your presence at the home as my guest. And a guest you shall remain in perpetuity for as long as you are in the premises of my home. Your mailing address shall not be here. Your mailing address shall be your prior place of residence, so as not to legally entangle us into a cohabitation status. Okay. Wrong selfish reason for having kids. Yeah, it comes off that way, doesn't it? Yeah, Elena nailed it too. Exactly. He continued, in the event that I ask you to vacate the home, you agree to immediately vacate the home and remove any and all items you have brought into the home as soon as possible. Yeah, it's gonna be something like that with a bunch of provisions.
You just said across the table is, you will get bored of me.
Oh man. Oh, what a legend. He is talking like this because he's seen too much. He has seen too much. He has seen a lot happen to his folks, you know? See, what is she gonna say to that?
I'm not gonna get bored of you.
I'm not gonna get bored. She's gonna look him dead in the eye and say that. I'm not gonna get bored of you. And if he signs that paper in 5 to 7 years, man, she's gonna be like a harpy. He's gonna be remembering that moment where she said that and like, yeah, she was BSing. I want to see that again.
I'm not gonna get bored of you.
Oh my God, look at that. Ooh, those are the eyes of the serpent right there. Yeah. Ooh, there it is. I gotta hear it.
I'm not gonna get bored of you.
Pure gold. Nikki had nothing to say after.
Look at her messing with the ring.
To that. And surprise, surprise, the relationship ended soon after.
There
Fast
you go.
Forward, Nikki.
Now let's hear the reasons why it ended. Oh my God.
He marries Artem in 2022.
Okay, okay, John Cena wasn't good enough. Now she's married to Artem.
Without a prenup. Gets divorced in 2024. And
oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, so that's crazy. So, okay, yeah, I forgot this part of the video. Yeah, so she gets bored of John Cena. And then she marries this gentleman, Artem. And then they get divorced without a prenup. Not a prenup. Okay, so yeah, I mean, there you go. There you go. There you go. If she doesn't sign, is he going to ask the waiter to split the bill? In other words, if I tell you to leave, get out immediately. 5 years later, bae, you need to go to counseling so you can learn how to better entertain me. Exactly. You're not giving me what I need. You're not meeting my needs. She tried so hard, and in the end, it didn't even matter. Not to show the crazy eyes. Oh yeah, the crazy eyes were coming. Bro, she was like her heart was pumping, man. She had like that, and it was like a hate, like she was trying to bite back the like ferocity of it all, but it showed there, it all concentrated into the eyes, you know? I'm not going to get bored of you. I am going to get bored of you since women lie, yeah. She should be hooked up to a lie detector. Suka, new marriage requirement. Make women take a lie detector test. There would probably be no marriages by the end of that. That would be the final death knell for any marriages. Agree, Tacticus.
And she had to pay. And now she's finally talking about it publicly.
Okay, so I think what happened is like she made some money or something, and so there was no prenup, so she had to pay.
On her podcast. Let's jump in. Now it's time for us to get into this and do what we gotta do. Because we many.
It's looking like Artem may have actually taken a little bit of this advice. Oh wait, hold on, not that one.
And there's nothing more important than marrying a wealthy woman.
Okay, so let's see how that goes.
It got everyone's attention to hear.
That's right. So there's a major headline going on, or going around about me that I just really want to kill. I don't want to get super deep into it.
Well, if you want to kill it, then get deep into it and give us all the details.
And you know that could be a part of the issue. During my entire divorce, the incident that happened, because I haven't gotten really into it, it's given people opportunity to
make up lies,
have their own perception on
yeah
what's happened. And you know what? I'm okay with that because I know the truth, lived it. I'm here and I'm happy. So that's what has kept me strong. But I need to educate the ones that aren't educated on a certain topic,
which is a lot.
And by the way, I don't blame people, because one thing I've realized, there's a lot of topics in life that I'm not educated on because I haven't been through it. And we have to.
The way she's talking reminds me of when I was in like my exploring technology class in the 9th grade, and we had to learn about homeroom for typing. And in order for us to learn about homeroom for typing, there was a script that we had to practice typing. So it's like you'd see the script and then what you're typing is right below it. And the script was like this really bland thing about how, you know, you want to work hard and set goals for yourself and then work hard to create new skills in order to accomplish those new goals, and all the different topics. Like, okay, yes, we know that. We know that there are many topics out there that we're not experts on. That's literally part of the human condition.
To remember that the internet, there's a lot of people that have never been in love, have never been married, have never been divorced, have never had kids, have never been through stuff you have. And so we will all have opinions, but we don't know it till we've gone through it, right?
Exactly, Nikki. John Cena had already gone through it. He had a 3-year marriage to his high school sweetheart.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, yeah, there we go. That's how he knew.
Went through divorce court, got burned, and said, never again.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Nikki didn't understand that lesson. She didn't learn from someone else's experience. But remember the old saying, while it is wise to learn from experience, it is wiser to learn from the experiences of others. Nikki didn't, and she paid.
So let me tell you about divorce. So obviously TMZ put out, and then
let me tell you about divorce.
Everyone else has picked it up, and everyone's had opinions about Artemonized divorce settlement. It's everywhere. It is mind-blowing to me that our government allows all this stuff to be public, but that's, you know, the way the world is, and it's okay.
I mean, yeah, if it's in court, you know, it's public record unless they like sealed it.
Hey, and
marriage was always supposed to be something that's public. So frankly, divorce should be too. You know, at this point, I'm trying to get it to where they present the dowry. So that when I'm going over there to the wedding, I can look at the dowry on the table, read the contract myself before I go help myself to a piece of cake and give my blessings to this marriage that I'm here to witness. I want to make sure it makes sense. Everybody needs to make sure it makes sense.
We're here. The divorce has nothing to do with what happened, the incident, any of that. Divorce is divorce. Divorce has to deal with the paper, the contract you signed during
they don't care about, you know, whatever your personal morality or what you thought was right or wrong.
Marriage, the day of marriage, at the court before marriage, whatever. So our settlement is what everyone saw. Yes, I had to give him $200,000.
That's what happens when you're the
support,
the breadwinner.
The breadwinner.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. I bet you Artem, the happy, like, he was not sitting there getting traumatized from this divorce. The divorce happened and it made sense. And they gave him the money he was owed because that's what marriage is. And, you know, she made some money or whatever while they were married and they got divorced. And yeah, she had to pay.
Beautiful summary, Nikki. Divorce is divorce. The court system doesn't care about romantic speeches. It doesn't care who fell out of love first. It
Especially in a no-fault divorce system.
Doesn't care who cheated. It cares about the contract. Marriage is a contract. Nikki was the breadwinner, so she had to pay. Not $200, not $2,000, $200,000. Why? Because that's what the contract demanded. Now listen to the explanation.
And
wonder if it's contract or if it was like a, well, it maybe just means marriage license in general, or if it was just like the split from her assets or what it was.
Also, there's a lot of different things that happen to make that number. I got a steal, I'm not gonna lie, which is crazy to say. And you know,
I got a steal. So it's just like, she's sitting there looking at it like I could have got screwed so much worse. And, you know, she's probably lucky there were no kids or anything. And if there were kids, the court was not going to sit there for a second and say, well, because she birthed the kids, she doesn't have to pay. Oh, God.
The one thing is our judge, we did private mediation, said at the end of it, this is the first time in all the years I've done this where a woman had to pay a man.
Oh, my God.
Did you hear that? Risotto!
This is the first time in all the years I've done this where a woman had to pay a man. And the judge said, you should be so damn proud that you built such an empire that someone wants a piece of it. Now, let me tell you the learning.
That someone wants a piece of it, like the guy's bad or something like that. But do they sit there? Do they tell that to the men when it's the man losing? You know, John Cena losing half of his empire in his first marriage or whatever.
Listen, if you ever get married again, promise me you will make them sign a prenup.
See, and the judges are sitting here telling people this kind of stuff. But then when you ask about a prenup, you're the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a bad guy. That's all about love. All right.
It was like, I promise. They go, hard lesson to learn today. Because of the money you're going to have to pay out. But
and why is she sitting there coddling this woman? She needs to, the judge should have been there and been like, you're married. You owe this man $200,000. This is what it means to be married. Marriage is a serious thing. That's what they tell us when it happens. That's what they tell the men. They're just like, why are you complaining? You're not being a man. But since she's a woman, she had to get the whole damn, you know, speech going on to like make her feel better about it.
Be damn proud of yourself. Yeah. And it was nice to hear that. And I was, even though it hurts because I broke my neck.
Yeah, it hurts. Oh, look at this. I broke my neck for that money. But when the man does it.
And it was nice to hear that. And I was, even though it hurts because I broke my neck for that money.
But when it's the man, then all of a sudden it's just like, that's the mother of your kids, right? That's what you're supposed to do. The provider there. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is this? Yeah, it hurts when you lose a bunch of money to some bum.
That money, all that is my hard-earned money.
The judge bailed.
It's my hard-earned money. Oh, no, I thought it was our money. We were married. Wasn't that the deal when we got married? Oh, it's my money now. Okay. You guys, you ladies were the one that were selling this.
Her out. Why? Because she's a...
All that is my hard-earned money.
My hard-earned
money. The judge
money.
bailed her out. Why? Because she's a woman. The judge told her she should be proud that she built an empire someone wants a piece of.
Man, that guy probably went easier on her in the divorce, and she admitted it. That guy could have got more money out of her, and he should have got more money out of her. He should have got more money out of her.
That's not justice, that's affirmation. For a man, that's standard protocol. For a woman, it's a wake-up call. And let's be clear, this was a steal with a net worth of $10 million.
Yup, she should have lost. She should have got a lot more.
$200,000 payout is getting off easy. Women only understand the value of a prenup when their money...
And she was still mad about it. She's got all that money and she was still mad about it. Because inside in her instinct, she feels like something is wrong. But for men, they've gaslit men and they've shamed men that if you even feel that way, you're the bad guy. But it's such BS.
Is on the line.
Right. And can I just say a side note just on the prenup thing? I told Nicole many times, he needs to sign it. He needs to sign it. Please annul. Please annul. Everyone, I don't care. Everyone knows I'm the bad guy. And you believed in such a fairy tale and you're like, you let it go because you loved him.
Oh, yeah, but I was in love.
So I will say that, like, because people always try to make the worst of evils and the villains, and it's just so crazy. When, you know, just coming from a sister point, a lot of you who listen, you guys have best friends, sisters, family members, and, you know, there's...
And there's nothing more important than marrying a wealthy woman. As you get older, I'm going to teach you tricks.
All right.
Us to, like, are the audience watching and being like, do this, come on, please. And the other one, you know, people easily get lost in love. So it's kind of how, like, when I see all the comments and all that, I'm like, you don't even know where this all actually stemmed from when you're looking at the settlement.
This part is important. Nikki and Bree had a reality show. Artem proposed on that show.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. It's one of these, huh?
Really, man.
Oh.
Artem.
Prenups are not romantic. They're seen as distrust and not loving me 100%. And Nikki couldn't do it because then she'd look like a hypocrite. Why? Because she broke up with John Cena for setting boundaries and creating a legal agreement. She couldn't turn around and demand a prenup from Artem. The sisterhood would have destroyed her.
Man, this guy came up and it was all on film.
So she chose love and paid for it.
He was just like, I love you, baby. I'll do anything for you.
I know. Well,
And it kills me.
Well, here's another kill rumor. They're all like, oh, so he got the money because she lost. Like, no. Child support. If you are the breadwinner.
Oh, now we're talking about child support.
If you make more money, it is literally a state calculator. They put in the incomes and they go, boom, this one makes more money. This is what you owe per month.
Does she have kids with them?
At any point, by the way, till Mateo's 18.
Oh, they do. Okay, so they have a kid.
We'll always have to go. We can always go back to court or not. And this is
okay. So she's paying child support.
Anyone in a relationship, and you'll have to do the calculators again. And child support changes, and so because sometimes.
Yup. I mean, if Artem is just like, hey, court, she's got a new gig. Her income changed. Can we get this modified? They're gonna be like, all right, bring it in.
People start to do better.
I think Halle Berry deals with it similarly.
Do worse and blah blah blah. It's strictly having a kid in a marriage. That's all it is.
See, now she knows because now she's had to deal with it.
Everyone with all these stories
Now, where does it matter that she gave birth to the kid? Does anybody care? No, nobody cares, right? It's just about who has the money.
Losers, this and that. Like, you just have to educate yourself on things. And that's what I've realized about the internet. And I try to give so much grace because I'm like, they haven't been divorced or they haven't been married or they don't have a friend who's been through a divorce. All of it's strictly divorce.
Damn, this woman got married on a game show or got proposed. I don't know. It's like almost, I know, you guys remember Joe Millionaire back in the day? I know it's not unheard of, but gosh, something does seem a bit strange about all of that.
And believe me, I did great in it because they wanted to settle. I was going to trial.
They wanted to settle really bad.
Well, Okay, Bree, wait.
They wanted to settle. She was going to go to trial.
Wanted to settle. I was going to trial. They wanted to settle really bad. Well, okay, Bree.
She didn't want to spend any more money.
Remember when I said, can keep this light?
And this is why
So why doesn't she's avoiding something. She's trying not to reveal something.
She's so calm. She knows this was a steal. She could have lost half of everything.
Yeah.
Instead,
yeah. So they settled. So it didn't go all the way to the court to cast the judgment down, but she was able to do some kind of payment to where it made sense, to where they're like, all right, fine, we'll let you go.
she pays $3,500 a month in child support with shared custody. For her, that's a win. But remember,
she didn't have the leverage.
Numbers we usually hear: 50K, 100K, 200 freaking K a month. When you hear numbers like that, you better protect yourself.
Yeah.
Because no child.
They just came to some agreement. And it was probably the guy's masculinity that stopped him from getting what he, is due to him per the law. He probably could have got more, but, at some point in there, he decided to be nice. Fine.
Needs that much money to eat.
I work really hard and
yeah, I feel you on that.
Protect yourself, because no child needs that much money to eat.
I work really hard and, the child support doesn't bother me because I want Mateo to make sure his life in the other house is equal, and
is equal. Yeah. Now she's coming out here and because she knows the hypocrisy, so she's gonna come out here and try to make it like it's not a big deal and it doesn't bother her. It only doesn't bother her because she could have ended up paying a lot more. So now she's given the standard child support propaganda. It wasn't bother me.
And that
they
is
stipulated below guideline. Exactly.
One thing too.
She's just trying to keep it cool. She's just trying to make it seem like she's not pissed about it. When just over here, she was talking about how she had to break her neck for that money. Because if she doesn't keep it cool, then they'll be right back in court.
One will bitch and complain. Oh my gosh, this is about child support. When you're in the courtroom, child support is so the child could have an equal life in both homes.
And I've discussed that with you guys before, which at bottom is crazy. You know what I mean? If the child doesn't have an equal life in both homes, then I don't know, maybe give custody to where the lifestyle is better in that home and have the other parent figure it out. So equalizing, because one parent decides to baby trap another and now we got to equalize both homes. The hell is that? Just hit basic needs and then that's it.
That's where it comes from. And so it is hard.
And you know how she knows this? Let me tell you. I worked at a child support agency. We don't really go out there telling everybody that just out of nowhere for them. The only time somebody needs to be explained about that part of child support for how it works on a conceptual level is when they're hella upset about it. She went in there and she was like, well, why do I have to pay $3,500 a month for him? He doesn't need that much. And he's working too. The dad's working. That's when the caseworker's got to be like, okay, well, see, this is why the calculator says that. So she was hella in there complaining and upset about it.
And you're like, oh, it hurts, but it's so maybe the other parent can get a better place for rent. So then your child support goes to that, right?
Oh, yeah, we got to go and pay for their rent.
Or they can eat the same organic food or...
Yeah, they're sitting there spending the money on organic food. Not to mention, nobody's checking what the money's getting spent on. If they're buying organic food or not, that's a lot of optimism.
So for me, it doesn't, I don't even think twice about it because I'm like, that is making sure Mateo's also 50-50. Half of his other time is a good life.
Right.
But
she's being politically correct.
Yeah. She sounds like she's BSing right here. I don't, something off about her, Nobody gave a flying F what I sacrificed, literal bodily sacrifice, when they took from me to pay for an adulterous ex-wife. Exactly. The judge didn't give you the speech to make it soft. Shah's on one tonight. Get married, sir, so she can calm you down. Oh, man. Married Shah. Your neck looks fine. Bless your heart. She should have had to pay $5 million. Yup. And nobody's talking about the unpaid labor of the guy. Exactly. What about all that? I bet he had to do all the hard housekeeping work. Yeah, exactly. Why aren't we acknowledging that? They look the same. I found the article of China sort of banning delusional dramas. Okay, heck yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you could throw it in the Discord, I'll take a look at it. His unpaid emotional labor, exactly. Sister Uber Al's, yeah. Al, I'm changing my views on marriage. I want to marry a really rich woman. And yeah, I've been trying to tell you guys. Now the people are, oh, that's not masculine. I'm a man. I already have my money. Like, man, get the hell out of here. This is what I think about those guys.
I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch. Cut that bitch off.
That whole masculine stuff, I don't need her money, that only applies for short-term, low-leveraged engagements. If it's just about you're just trying to kick it with her and you're just trying to get it in, fine. But when you're talking about a business deal like marriage, use your brain, is all I'm trying to say. So shout out to Artem here. Good for you, Artem. Bruh, hearing women in society talk like really reinforces the idea of men are in love, women are in business. Exactly. And men need to be back in business when it comes to marriage, if you're going to talk about marriage. A white knight judge, risen her up. Exactly. It's either that or a woman judge, but I'm not sure. Probably a white knight. I posted the article in Discord. Perfect. She cared more about what the sisterhood would tell about her than her money. Yeah. Her ex-husband was from from Russian finesse. There you go. Yet they argue in court their awful husband is an awful child. Why is she so upset she has to pay child support? Oh yeah, you know she was. I have some really choice words for that. They stipulated below guideline. My brother in Texas is not given what is due him because he is a man. Man, I swear that just, I wish he can appeal that. That's so messed up that happened like that. Some of these judges are still some super boomer judges, man, and I think that toxic masculine hoodie is oppressing her so much she can't put it on all the way. You used to work for child support? Thought you looked familiar. I want my child support. It'll be easy to sue my ex. He works at child support and lives in the other room. Yo, if you guys do end up with a child support judgment, that is going to be the most by the book judgment that that guideline's going to be so precise. God forbid. Hopefully it's easy for you. Easy surface. Yeah. I think she wants to be publicly seen as a caring and loving ex-wife. Yeah. It just comes off as so fake. Organic food. Free range gluten-free chickens. She's totally playing good guy. Oh yeah. I don't trust it at all. She has to have it. This is the same woman that wanted to go to trial. She's only playing nice because she doesn't want to go back to court, and they made it easy on her. She has to have some skin in the game. Shaw, you should do a poll if men would sign a prenup if you marry a rich woman. Depends what it says in that prenup. Yeah, okay, let's see. Would you sign a prenup to marry a rich woman? There, yes or no. I would vote yes personally. Because first of all, it depends how you negotiate the prenup, right? You could have something in there that protects you in the case of divorce, but also, gets you a payout, like $200,000. Shouldn't be much for her, rich woman. And not to mention that, listen, I wouldn't mind signing a prenup as long as you're living with someone like that. Your lifestyle is going to be positively affected. So as long as you guys are married, you still benefit from what each of you bring and have. You know what I mean? I'm not looking to make out like some bandit. I'm really not. You know what I mean? So that's just me personally. Thank you for that poll question. What's her dowry? Organic food seems very expensive these days. Yeah, it sure does. I don't trust her either. Honestly, I don't trust most women. Shout out to you, Luke. Oh, man. Nah, prenup would be a sign she's not trusting me. So no prenup for Klaus. I wouldn't marry anyone without a prenup. Now, yeah, to me, it all depends on the prenup. You know what I mean? And it's about what you negotiate. And I would sign a prenup, but I'm going to make sure the prenup makes sense,
We all know it's women who receive the brunt of these massive pay.
Dan says, I'm going to vote for this. I'm going to vote no for the same reason women don't sign it. Oh, God, it's good. 78% no prenup with the rich woman. All right, moving in.
Payouts. Dunking on child support. Y'all know it's
Is a good life.
Right.
You know, but
she's being politically correct. We all know it's women who receive the brunt of these massive payouts. Dunking on child support would mean dunking on the very system that benefits her gender. But notice what she said. They can go back to court for 18 years.
Yeah, she better keep it cool for those 18 years.
Life and income change. I want you to keep that same energy when your ex-husband demands more money because he can't keep up the lifestyle.
Yep, what exactly? When they go back to court, she better be like, yeah, I'm totally willing to pay $30,000 a month. Of course I'll do that. I want, all that stuff while he's over there.
Pay for it because it's 50-50, right?
That was a fantastic video by MHD. What an amazing video. Amazing. Fantastic. Thank you, Manosphere Highlights Daily. John Cena's 75-page relationship contract is inspirational and should be studied by all men. Yes. Yes, it should be. It should definitely be studied by all men. And it's complicated short. Is asking to... Oh, let's see what... Let me just...
Is asking to sign a prenup considered insulting, and if so, why?
Yeah, because you got a preconception that the relationship's not going to be working from the off, I suppose.
If you really in
that's such BS. That's just completely romantic ethos garbage, right?
Love with somebody, you wouldn't care. You wouldn't
straight to romantic
worry
love.
If they're trying to take your money after you leave. So why do you need a prenup?
Oh my God.
You trust that person. You give if it's true love, I believe.
If it's true love, oh my God. Then to sign the prenup, then it's true love.
That's why I'm not in love, because if it's true love, all of those inhibitions go out the window.
My money's my money, and I mean, unless you're a broke boy.
There you go. It's broke. That's why he wants to
be offended by me asking you for a.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Prenup.
Let's sign that prenup.
Why wouldn't a woman be the first one to suggest a prenup to reassure her man she's not marrying him for his money?
Because she's marrying him for his money.
It's not insulting, but it is. I mean, nowadays we all know we're about to get divorced, so I mean that's what you're gonna prepare from that from the beginning.
She's keeping it real at least. All right, that was fun. Maybe we'll read the comments on that. You can't see John Cena, but he can see a 304 a mile away. A woman had to pay, and suddenly she's the victim. Of course, the female judge had to soften the blow. Okay, I think it was a female judge. Best thing a pro wrestler ever did publicly in terms of money. John Cena was way ahead dealing with someone like Nikki. Contracts are necessary, especially at his level, at all levels. Anytime there's a marriage, there should be a contract. Divorce entitlement is the biggest grossing female industry. It needs to be destroyed. I made $55K gross. My child support was $1,200 monthly after net. Oh yeah, I've seen this all the time. That left me with roughly $2,200 a month to live on. She had another dude move in and split her bills as well. The idea that child support is so both homes are equal for the children is laughable. The only consolation was that 10 years after being zeroed out and living in squalor, I started a small business. Now, 22 years after divorce, I make $130K. I own a $450K home outright, zero debt, have some toys, take vacations, etc. She, on the other hand, the dude left 3 years ago. She still rents. She was sued by 2 banks for failure to repay loans. Is nearly 50, single, broken, in debt. Remember, gents, the race is a marathon, not a sprint. This is a beautiful comment. What a beautiful comment. Man says, sign prenup. Misogyny. Woman says, sign a prenup. Girl boss. Yep, there you go. Thank you, Gannon Garudo. So, family courts are unfair when the women have to pay them. Got it. Yeah, I broke my neck for that money. I remember John Cena doing this. Good on him for covering himself. Nikki got off light for real. Yeah, she did. Women breaking relationships must be Tuesday. So if she was a man, she would have had to pay $5 million. But she ended up paying only $200,000. The double standard is crazy. Yep. The largest tax-free wealth transfer system on the planet. She left John Cena. Talk about fumbling the bag. What a moron. Yeah. Old guy here. I know, like, sign the prenup and then you're with this guy. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Old guy here. I have no idea who Nikki Bella is, but she's worth $10 million, but only had to pay $200K in divorce. How the heck did she get off so easy? This situation would never happen if the man was worth $10 million and the woman got $200K. Can you Imagine that outrage. Oh, yeah. Why don't judges give the same advice to men? Get a prenup. Exactly. John dodged a bullet. Sure did. Nikki Bella's empire is built on dating John Cena. Talent is not sexually transmitted. A 75-page agreement. That's the only way I will ever consider it again. I never heard of a man being told he should be proud of what he built after getting raked over by the... Yes, exactly. JC was trying to protect his disabled family. Also notice how they leave a good man, they downgrade. Newfound respect for John Cena doing prenups to protect his assets and family before it was popular. He stood his ground and drove this chick away. Then she got married to a guy, cheated on him. Oh, she cheated on the guy. Wow. And had to pay... Oh my God, all the psychological trauma she put Artem through. She should have paid him way more than... Oh my gosh. And had to pay him child support. If a woman gets offended by a prenup or a paternity test, don't walk, run. Yeah, I was waiting for you to cover this. Nikki Bella is a snake. I remember when Adele had to pay her ex and women were mad. Like, what y'all celebrate when your sisters get paid settlement, but don't like it when they are the one who have to pay up? Good old double standard. All right, one more. I learned the hard way that your day in court doesn't really mean anything, at least not in family court. I had all these grand notions that I'd get up in front of the judge and make my case, but I never had a chance to talk other than answering questions. Man, this is accurate right here about my finances and how many hours per week I've been parenting on average. That's all it is. I didn't get to make any statements about the alienation, no statements about emotional abuse and manipulation. It was a chart they filled out right in front of me. Yep. He's talking about the guideline, the calculator. Oh my God. All right. That's, let me end this poll real quick. That was beautiful. I'm so glad we did that video. 78% say no, they will not sign a prenup to marry a rich woman. 22% say yes. Oh my God. Guys, I think it's music time. I'll probably see this one out. You know, let me just catch up with the chats real quick. We're gonna, you know, are we doing Christmas jingle again? You know, let's do deadbeat women. We're gonna do deadbeat women. Let me just look at the chat. I wouldn't marry anyone without a prenup now. No fault divorce should have required prenups because no fault divorce is not a contract. A fault based divorce should have mandatory no prenups. Yeah, it should be, especially for a no fault divorce. Yeah, you're right. It is. What kind of contract is that? If he can be unilaterally broken for anything. Bro, if the husband is listening now, go back to court with this woman. Oh, yeah. Have a modified child support to match what the guidelines should say. If it's true love, that's a big if because it's not true love. I bet if she had money, she wouldn't mind signing it. Oh, yeah. Women always justify why not to sign a prenup. They are grifters, very much so. Number one way women get rich, divorce. Full history of Legend of Zelda was in your list. Did you hear that they're not using a they, them as Princess Zelda in the movie? I would hope they're not. I mean, that's a great way to flop that movie. My gosh, I didn't actually know that was a thing that they were considering, but fine, so be it. Shout out to Luke Nielsen. We have Deadbeat Woman coming up next. Another fantastic song here by the Folks. Thank you so much for the music. I'm going to go ahead and wrap the stream up now. We're at 3.5 hours. I got to play another hour of Legend of Zelda before I go to sleep tonight, so I need to eat some food and do that. Shout out to the folks out there. We had a fantastic time today. We're going to play this, and we're going to play, well, maybe just this. If we got time for another one, maybe we'll play Shoulda Listened to Shaw by Dan the Man. Hope everybody's doing okay and has a fantastic week ahead of you. It's a blessing. Thanks everybody who came in here. We got 27 likes on here, 24 people in here now. Thanks for everybody that came in and hung out. I had a fun time. I hope you guys had a fun time. We'll be here same time next week. Probably closer to Christmas, we're going to do the fun stream. We're going to do the CRT retro gaming stream. And we're going to do pizza on that stream for iTrevor. We're going to make sure to use iTrevor's donation for the pizza there. And I do want to say I'll probably find a way to get the dowry in there while we're playing those games. I can still react to something on that stream. So if something really good happens, maybe we'll do that. So yeah, that'll be in a couple weeks from now. Deadbeat woman. Deadbeat woman. Man, this is a fantastic song. Great live stream, Shaw. Oh, thank you so much for being here, Elena. I appreciate you so much. I got to go back and see what Steve Sandman was talking about with the hater. Take care, everyone. See you next time. Take it easy, Elena. Have a great rest of your evening there and rest of your weekend. Have a great weekend all. Thank you, Luke. We appreciate you. I appreciate everybody who's here and everybody in the Discord especially. I love reading the comments throughout the week, and sometimes we have fun and some good laughs in there. Shout out to Mr. Pitt, a.k.a. Avalanche, for keeping things sane in there. Good times. Thank you, Don DeMarco. Appreciate you coming in here with your French knowledge. French-Canadian, I believe. Dos Gorogo probably means good night. I don't know. I'll rewatch the stream to catch up what I missed and hear y'all listen to my Christmas song. Absolutely. That's right at the beginning, too. So as soon as you hit play on that, baby, you're going to be able to hear that. Also, shout out to Nuclear Cadillo for coming in and saying hi, and I appreciate the retweet again. Him and I are, got to make something happen here soon. Poca, W stream from Avalanche. Oh, we had a heated debate today with Steve about the system in the court. Okay, I got to watch that. I definitely got to watch that. That sounds really interesting, so that's going to be a great way to spend my Sunday. Thank you for that, Elena. Catch the folks over at the Resurgence. Great stream. Have a good evening, everybody. Thank you, Klaus. Have a fantastic evening. I hope you enjoy hopping in that Porsche, driving over to a nice cafe, getting just a plain butter croissant or something, or a Danish, whatever y'all prefer, and some coffee. Join the Discord. Thank you, Avalanche. Yep, see you soon. All right, legends. I'm going to go ahead and, let me see real quick. John Cena was married before Nikki and divorced, so he learned his lesson. He's currently married, though, since 2020. Hope he made a 75,000-page contract. Exactly. Poca. All right, see y'all. I'm going to go eat, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Hope everybody had fun tonight. I had a fantastic time myself, so we'll go ahead and see y'all next week. Maybe even sooner. Who knows?